or if their school is overcrowded, or if it's crumbling and outdated. NJEA is proud to support urban educators, parents, and community leaders who are fighting for their children. And we will never get another chance to do the right thing by this generation of children. This is our one opportunity to fulfill our moral obligation to them. And it's an obligation that only benefits us. And that's the most incomprehensible part. For every dollar that we shortchange these students, we will feel the impact in hundreds of ways. And we can do something about it. Standing strong together, saying enough is enough. It's past time to do right by our children, and we will not back down until they get the resources, support, and encouragement they deserve. So thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for all that you do for public education, and thank you for always, always, always fighting like warriors for your students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And let us remember, the fight started in the capital city, the city of Trenton. We are on the forefront of this. Not North Jersey, not South Jersey, but right here in the city of Trenton. Give yourselves another round of applause. Right now, we want to bring up to the podium Assemblyman Reed Gaciora, who is our representative for the city, Councilman Duncan Harrison, if he is here, Councilwoman Marge Caldwell, I see you, amen. Assemblywoman, also come forward, amen. Phyllis Holly Ward, is she here? Amen. Also, Walker Worthy, is he here? And also we'll bring up the Chief of Staff to the Mayor, Francis Blanco.
Good afternoon, Trenton. And it's always good to be here at the State House, even though the governor is out there somewhere. But we're still here to send a message because we have had an absentee landlord in this State House, and who's left Trenton behind. Trenton is our capital city, but we're treated often as a stepchild in the state. And our children who are going in a great educational opportunity, the TEA, the paralegals, paraprofessionals, the board, the mayor, the council, we're all on board to make sure that everyone gets a thorough and efficient education despite the cutbacks from this administration. And we're here to support you. It is a rally for equity, a rally that Trenton students deserve an education second to none in this state. So I thank everyone for coming out here today. We all stand together. We want a better education. We're looking forward to a brand new high school that we put forward, and we're looking for a great educational system, but we need the support from the state. So make sure you contact your representatives, contact this governor, tell them to get off the campaign trail, to dump Trump, and to worry about our kids instead. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Liz Moyo. I'm Reed's running mate here in the 15th Legislative District. And we represent Trenton, a city that's been hit with over 300 layoffs in the past 2 years because they've been underfunded for years. And nobody is better at doing more with less than parents on a budget and public school teachers. But there's a difference between doing more with less, because you're all used to that as urban school teachers, and doing something with nothing. or being expected to give children the tools for success that you're expected to give them with not only one arm tied behind your back, but both arms tied behind your back. And that's what you've been doing for years, and it's unacceptable. You deserve better, our children deserve better, and the future of our state deserves better. So thank you for all you do. I'm here today because I support you, I support public school teachers, and we're with you in this fight, and we're with you in your mission. So thank you for doing this today, and thanks for letting us speak.
Good morning, Trenton. Good morning. So welcome to the North Ward of Trenton. I'm Marge Caldwell-Wilson. I'm the North Ward Councilwoman, and I may look at this from a different point of view. This administration and this governor are into privatization, promoting charter schools, and busting unions. So make no mistake, they do not care about our children, because they would rather focus on busting the unions, privatizing all the business, and they would focus on charter schools. So we have a real dilemma here, folks, and I really, truly want to thank you all for holding this together and fighting this fight for our children in the Trenton schools. We can't let them win on this. And we need to double and triple our numbers, and we need to have a rally down here when he's in the office, if he's not out there campaigning with Donald Trump. So, my heart goes out to all the parents that are going to be affected by this, and all the children in the city of Trenton that are affected by this. And I think that we need to look at the school board and the administration and say, let's figure out why our children are taken out of our schools and put into charter schools. Let's solve that problem and keep them in our public schools, because we need our public schools. Our children can do well in public schools. We have scholars that come out of Trenton public schools, and we are proud of the children that learn in our public schools. But because this governor wants to bash the teachers and wants to bust up the unions, we now have this fight on our hands. So I am there with you every time you need me, and thank you so much for keeping up this fight.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Councilwoman and Vice President Verlena Reynolds-Jackson of Trenton City Council. I want to thank you all for coming out here today. As my colleagues have said, I am a proud graduate of Trenton Central High School and educated through the Trenton Public School District. The fight is about funding, and we know that our urban education is being seriously underfunded. We know that charter schools take away millions and millions of dollars away. We have to continue the fight, not only on a Sunday, a Saturday, but Monday through Friday here in this State House. This is the people's house, our house. We need you to be there at the budget meetings all year long to continue to fight for the funding that we deserve for our children. I thank you, I applaud you, and I look forward to seeing you in these halls, in these chambers. God bless you all.
Good afternoon, everyone. Francis Blanco, Chief of Staff to Mayor Jackson. Although Mayor Jackson is not physically here with you today, he is here with you in his commitment and his thought that has not been a minute in the past hour that he has not been checking in to see how it's going. On his behalf, okay, thank you to the leadership of New Jersey Education Association, TEA, paraprofessionals, and everyone else for being here and putting this together. But more so, thank you to the members who have put aside the immediate impact of this lack of funding and have come here together to remain true to the essence of what you as educators selected, which is our children and our future. So thank you for that, again, for remaining true to the children versus playing to political agendas. You know, they say that a house divided falls, but that's not what we're seeing here. What we're seeing here is that no matter what aspect or where you come from, we're here united together. And it is together that we are going to, it is the collective power of each and every single one of us together that we're able to knock this door, knock it down, and get some results. It has been said, it began here in the city of Trenton. Yes, that is true. But let's not keep it at beginning here. Let's keep it every day. Let's keep it when you cast your vote. Let's keep it in June. Let's not forget about it when everything is decided and the school year starts. Keep on knocking at the door. Keep on acting with your vote, with your voice, and with your action. Once again, this is the message from Mayor Jackson. Divided we can't. But together we can and we will, and this is the beginning, and every day after, with your neighbor, with the politician, at the grocery store, raise their awareness and come here and knock the door. Thank you.
Let's give them another round of applause. At this time, we want to call up the Superintendent of Schools, Lucy Feria, who serves as the interim superintendent, and the Trenton Board of Education President, Mr. Jason Redd.
Good afternoon. Bienvenidos. Bienvenue. My name is Lucy Feria. I'm the interim superintendent of the Trenton Public Schools. And I want to start out by saying thank you to everyone that is here today. Thank you to the TEA leadership, Naomi LaFleur and her army of people that have organized this event. Thank you to all the other union presidents. They all came together and they have all contributed to the rally and the call for equity. And thank you to Ms. Kathy Smallwood Johnson for serving as the MC. Ms. Johnson continues to come back to serve, and she does so graciously. Thank you. I also want to thank our board president, Jason Redd, and our board members who continue to also support this call for equity. Equity. There are those who feel that there is no relationship between government spending and student achievement. This is an area that has been studied for decades. Some argue there is no correlation, but recent research out of the Boston Group Consulting Company has done numerous research across the country, across states, and across districts. And this is what they found. They found that the level of spending matters. They found that the source of spending matters, and how much a state supports does matter. They found that equity spending matters. Giving children of high poverty areas an equal opportunity to succeed, spending more for those students. In our city's schools, we are grappling with the reality that lead does impact learning. We are grappling with cultural diversity, language diversity, and more recently with newcomers that come to us with little or no formal education. So we cannot continue to fund our schools the same way we have in the past, because the standards are higher and diminishing funds will not give us the equitable contributions to our districts. So, according to the research, there are three broad questions the policymakers must ask. Are all, keyword, all kids and districts getting adequate funding? Is the state proportion of spending great enough to help to level the playing field? Is the funding equitable? And when we're talking about equitable, we're not talking about equal. Different groups of students need more. So again, thank you to all of you for your support of our city students. Our students deserve better. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. As president of the Trenton Board of Education, it is my privilege to welcome you to our capital city. The Trenton Board of Education proudly supports all the parents, teachers, staff, and public officials around the state who fight every day for the education of our children and who have come here today to ask for a fair, consistent, and equitable funding for education. We are also grateful to the New Jersey Education Association and the Trenton Education Association for organizing this event. Our kids cannot wait, and your presence here today brings this issue to the forefront. It is important to note that today is not the end, but the beginning of our advocacy for equitable funding. Together, we must make sure that the legislators that work in this building right here remember the students here in the capital city and throughout the state of New Jersey. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, Trenton. Good afternoon, Trenton. My name is Guillermo Gomez, and I am a member of the Trenton Board of Education. The message that I am about to give, I'm going to give it in Spanish, because this board understands the needs of the Latino community in the city of Trenton. Como miembro de la Junta de Educación de Trenton, el presidente Jason Red y yo, es nuestro privilegio, es nuestro honor darle la bienvenida a nuestra ciudad capital. La Junta de Educación de Trenton orgullosamente apoya a todos los padres, maestros, empleados y funcionarios públicos del Estado Jardín, quienes luchan todos los días para educar a nuestros niños y han venido aquí hoy para demandar una educación justa, consistente y con fondos equitativos. También estamos agradecidos con la Asociación de Educación de Nueva Jersey y de Trenton por organizar este evento. Nuestros niños no pueden esperar. Y su presencia aquí trae a resaltar esta situación en este día. Es imperativo recalcar que hoy no es el final, sino el comienzo de una lucha incesable por fondos equitativos. Juntos debemos de asegurarnos que los legisladores que trabajan en este edificio recuerden los estudiantes, tanto de nuestra ciudad capital como de nuestro bello Nueva Jersey. Gracias.
And to what was just said, let me say this. Que lastima, lo siento, ojalá que se mejore pronto. And what I said was, what a shame that they are sick. I hope they will get well soon. And what they are doing to our children is sick. And I hope that these elected officials get well soon. That's the only Spanish I remember from high school. At this time, we want to recognize Mayor Ross Baraka from Newark. Is the mayor here yet? Let's give him a round of applause. We'll recognize him when his bus arrives. Amen. Right now, we want to call up Marie Bliston, the NJEA Vice President, and Sean Spiller, NJEA Secretary and Treasurer.
Thank you, Kathleen. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, thank you for being there. I am Marie Bliston, and this is Sean Spiller. from New Jersey Education Association, representing over 203 of the best public school employees in the United States. And we thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here, because your demonstration, your presence here demonstrates where your priorities are, who your priorities are. They are for the health, the welfare, the education of our most precious resource, our children. I call shame on Governor Christie. Under his tenure, since 2009, the number of school districts that are below adequacy for school funding has doubled. Shame on Governor Christie. Since 2009, he has simply increased the school aid by just about 1%. Shame on Governor Christie. Under his watch, the city of Newark, our students, our staff, under his state control have been exposed to lead poisoning. Shame on Governor Christie. And his actions have demonstrated his priorities. It is an absolute disgrace that Mr. Trump was in this state yesterday, fundraising to eliminate Governor Christie's accrued debt from his failed presidential bid. It is a disgrace that Governor Christie has given $6 billion in tax cuts to corporations instead of the $6 billion to our students. We stand with our parents, our community members, and our students, and we demand a state budget that puts children over corporations, policy over politics. Shame on Governor Christie. Our students deserve better.
I couldn't agree more. As your Secretary-Treasurer, I am so proud to be here, so proud of what you do each and every day, and so proud that you have joined and come down here to demand equity. And when I hear that demand, I think it means to me what it means to you. Yes, we're here because we traditionally see that so many of our schools, primarily in our urban black and brown areas, are underfunded, but we know that it's not just our schools, and we cannot be divided when we talk about equity. Equity means that we have to support our communities to make sure that the jobs are there, that the training is there, that public safety is provided, that we make sure that our kids are taken care of in their schools. And all too often, we see that there are just cuts after cuts after cuts as we race to the bottom. And that is unacceptable to me, and it's unacceptable to you. We have to start saying that those who have so much can't keep taking more. The rest of us can't keep fighting over less and less. We have to say enough is enough. We are going to reverse this tide by standing together. That means funding for our schools. It means supporting our kids. It means doing what we have to do to make sure that as middle-class Americans, if we work hard, if we try hard, our kids and all of us should have a shot at the American dream. So thank you for what you do.
All right. Shame on Christie.
Shame on Christie. Shame on Christie.
All right, that's enough commercial for him. He's gotten too much of our time. At this time, we're going to have a little entertainment from one of Trenton's own jazz songbirds, Miss Grace Little. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hello. Y'all ready to have a good time? All right. Let's do it. Give me some volume. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey! I don't see those hands. Come on. Listen. So let me tell you, boy, I'm hoping Frank each day I live. A little more love I have to give. A little more love that's devoted and true. Come on, y'all. 'Cause all I do is think about me. If you can discover this dream is for two. So let me tell you, boy, I light a candle every day and pray that you always feel this way, and pray that our love will forever be new. Come on, let me hear it. 'Cause all I do is think about you. Oh, yeah. Come on now. I think about you. I wanna be, hey, yeah. Come on, let me see those hands. Come on. That's right. Come on. Jersey, make some noise out here today. Hey! So let me tell you, boy, I light a candle every day and pray that you always pray that our love will forever be new. Wanna tell you, boy, if I cannot have you for my own, I'd rather be alone, be alone, be alone. I'd rather be doing that thing that I do. Come on now, 'cause all I do is think about you. Oh, yeah. Hey, I think about you. I wanna be, I gotta be, yeah. Oh, I think about you, baby, baby. Yeah. All I do is think about you, baby. Come on now. I think about you, baby. Yeah. All I do is think about you, baby. Is think about you. Yeah. Now this song I'm gonna sing is for the children, because we all play an important part in their lives, in their careers, in their journey. We have to be the heroes in these kids' life, is that right? There's a hero if you look into your heart. You don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. Come on now. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. And when you feel like in you. That's all right? Are you happy today? Come on. It might sound crazy what I'm about to say. Let me see those hands. Sunshine, she's here, can't take a break. I'm a hot air balloon, about to go in space. Come on now, hey. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Are you happy? Come on. Because if you feel like a room without a view, because come along. If you feel like happiness is the truth, because come along. If you know what happiness is to you, hey. Come along if you feel. Come on, let me see those hands back there. You come back here talking this and that. Give me all you got, don't hold back. Yeah, yeah. I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. Oh, I'm fine, y'all. Come on now. If it's to you, don't waste my time. Here's why. Because come along if you feel like a room without a roof. Come along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Come along if you know what happiness means to you. Hey. Come along if you. I'm coming in here with the kids. Come on, y'all babies. Ready? You bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. My level's too high to bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. Said my level's too. Let me see those hands. Come on, Jersey. Come on, Jersey! Hey! Come along if you feel like a room without a roof. Come along if you feel happiness is the truth. Come along if you know what happiness means to you. Hey. Come along if you feel like. Is that what y'all trying to do today? Come on! Let me see ya. Come on. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Come along. Come on, let me see ya. Put your hands together. Come on, Jersey. Is Jersey out here today? Hey. Here we go. Let me see those hands. Because I'm come along, come along, come along, come along, come along, come along. Come along, come along, come along, come along, come along. My name is the Amazing Grace. Jersey all day, every day. Thank you.
Come on, y'all. Give it up for great show. Give it up for great food. Give it up. Come on.
All right, all right, all right. I like that move. Ha! Amen. We'll save that for later. Though I do have another move that we could do. Y'all need to take a shovel and shovel that dirt off that they're trying to put on us. And shovel it off. Let's give Grace another round of applause. I don't know if these are her glasses. All right. Here you go for Sister Grace. At this time, we want to present Trenton's own prophet. He speaks truth to power. Instagram and Twitter. He has no problem challenging those who are trying to hurt the least of these. He cares most about our babies and their future. So I present to some and introduce to others the voice of this millennium, Darren Freedom Green.
All right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
There's a lot of people out here. I need to make sure you're with me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'd be remiss if I did not acknowledge and salute the boys track team who won the championship yesterday at the county level. And give them a round of applause. One of our problems in this city, and I'll start with this, is we don't acknowledge our babies when they're doing the right things.
That's right.
And we must begin to make it a point to point out their greatness. Because I'm going to say it to you one time, the streets are 24/7. And no matter what they do in their moments, the streets pay attention. And if the only time we talk to our children is when we're correcting them, that's where we lose them. You heard my name, but you need to know nothing but one thing. Fred Hampton was killed at the age of 21. Medgar Evers was killed at the age of 31. The iconic Malcolm X and the iconic Dr. King were killed at the age of 39. And therefore, those are my heroes. So when they were killed for fighting for something bigger than themselves, whenever you see me, know and understand I'm prepared to die in this moment for the generation I'm responsible for and this movement I'm a part of. We don't play no games about this, and if that's what you're playing with, this isn't for you. The conversation that we're having today is about inequity. And as the individual spoke earlier, it's much deeper than economics. And I don't think we understand the depths of it. And I'm going to focus on Trenton because that's where I'm from. Other speakers can speak about where they're from, but this is where I'm from. And in terms of what's going on in Trenton, there's an economic inequality when it comes to our babies. And what you don't understand is we're now talking about 167 teachers being laid off. And that's the reality we're facing right now because of budgetary concerns. And some will say it's listed under the area of special needs. But I think sometimes we get caught up on that title, special need. And it's much more than having autism or some physical disability. When you live in a city where everything is against you, when 51% of the babies going to public schools are dealing with free or reduced lunches, that's a special need. Because what you don't understand is oftentimes those are the only 2 meals they get. And the biggest fear I have is when school's over and summertime comes, the question I have is, who's feeding those babies then? No, I didn't come to talk cute in my suit. You'll get some truth today. The second part is 41% of the children going to public schools are birthed into concentrated poverty. And that's become a curse word in circles now. People want to send resources, they want to send programs, but nobody wants to talk about poverty and how children who are birthed into poverty live in a continuous state of trauma. Children who live in poverty are living in a constant state of anxiety. I look into the eyes of children every day and I see fear. Some of that fear is a fear that when they leave and come back home, the lights won't be on. Some of that fear is they washed up this morning, but when they get back home, they may not be able to wash up at night. A 6th grader told me this week, Mr. Free, I just don't want my stuff to be on the front porch when I get home. See, eviction is a special need. And when you don't deal with the needs of children, and when they're constantly living in fear, how can they focus on education? See, when you keep cutting the funds and the resources that the state says they allocate to make sure children get what they need, then they're left out there by themselves. But we who have a voice must speak for the voiceless. We must talk about what's going on with them. I'll say it because nobody won't. With 16,000 students in this district, this place should be packed. It's not enough to come. You need to bring somebody with you. And you need to tell them this is life or death. And if you're not prepared to give your life for our children, then you're on a part of this army. As we leave out of here, I'm gonna give you some instructions so you can leave understanding what's going on. It's our time now. And when you go back home, don't talk about or talk slick to the young parents, talk with them. Educate them on how important their role is, their responsibility, and that we need them here. Talk to them about becoming a part of the school board. Imagine school boards that have parents on them who have children inside the district. See, you move differently when you're invested. And I'm not knocking the school board members we have. I'm just painting a mental picture on a better tomorrow. Am I right now? How about leaving out of here as ambassadors? And we heard from our elected officials today, and that's good. But we need to work with our elected officials all year long to make sure they're writing policies that don't cut us out of all of what we need so we have economic equality. See, some of us have relegated our paying attention to issues to election cycles. And when the election's over, we stop thinking. But our children suffer each and every day. I'm gonna leave you with the jewel. There was a blind man born by the name of Bartimaeus. And Bartimaeus had hopes and aspirations of one day seeing, but he was blind. And when he heard that the master was coming, he took off his coat. See, Bartimaeus expected to be healed. And what I'm saying to you is, as parents, as educators, as administrators, as people who say these children are the best, if we put the work in each and every second we breathe, we can expect to be great. These babies are the greatest thing in existence, and if we don't allow them to be better than us, then we failed them. Are you ready to stand up? Say you're fired up and ready to go. Say you're fired up and ready to go. You are the most amazing people in the world. You are the greatest thing on the planet. And I'm telling you today, if death comes, I'll leave so you can stay. God bless you.
Let's give freedom another round of applause. All right, so we've heard from the prophet. Now it's time to hear from the preacher. I bring up to you right now the Right Reverend Stanley Justice.
Let me, first of all, let's give the New Jersey Education Association and all those persons involved, give them a hand for making possible the reason for why we're here even on this day. And the person who is presiding, the Reverend Dr. Kathleen Smallwood Johnson, who always does an excellent job. Let's give her a hand also, because she knows how to do it. Listen, the prophet Darren Green has really set in order a lot of things that needed to be said. And you know, it has been said that there are at least three types of people in this world. There are those who watch things happen. There are those who don't know what's happening. And there are those who make things happen. Give yourselves a hand, because you're part of making things happen. Today we're here to talk about the obvious, and then go back to our homes and organizations with a renewed commitment not to allow the obvious to continue. The only obvious: New Jersey, you are failing the students in the public schools, especially in the urban centers. We have been told time after time that education is the key to one's success. The purpose of schools should be and must be to prepare students for success after graduation, and therefore schools must prioritize the knowledge and skills that will be the greatest demand. such as those skills deemed to be most important by college professors and employers. But how can these districts prepare our students and provide them with the necessary knowledge and skills without the appropriate funding and resources? Listen, if you ride along any of the major highways in this state of New Jersey, you will see New Jersey touting itself as a highly educated state, highlight its many colleges and universities in an effort to market to businesses both globally and domestically. But I ask you, New Jersey, how can you continue to make this claim if you fail to adequately invest funding in the very districts that are tasked with preparing students to fill the seats of the universities or the businesses that you see? You cannot count yourself as a highly educated state if you are unwilling to adequately invest and prepare every student of this state, including those who are the most vulnerable among us. Parents, I'm asking you not to let this be the last time you visit the State House. Remember, this is your house, and you should not be a guest at your house. You can come to this house and plead again and raise hell if you want to, especially when things are not going the way they should be. The state of New Jersey, our children deserve the best. And so what I urge our parents to do is write letters, make phone calls regularly, visit again this state house, meet with the legislators, get to know the members of the education committees and the boards where you serve, testify at hearings and committee meetings. Please listen, you don't have to ask permission to come in your house. Tell your neighbor, you don't have to ask for permission. Just come on up in here and do what you're supposed to do. Listen, there's an election coming on, and there in Green City, we must not just vote in the general election, we must vote in every election, and the ones who are there and who are not doing the job, you gotta let them to get the hell out of the way so that the ones who are supposed to do what they're supposed to do. Make some noise because it's time to do so in the state of New Jersey. God bless you. God bless New Jersey.
All right. I'm not going to say what he said twice, but y'all heard it.
That's right.
Hello. At this time, we're going to hear from our young people with the Guatemalan band Punta de Lanza. Let's give the children a round of applause. Duncan Harris, who has a few words for us. Duncan Harrison, excuse me. We also want to call up after Duncan Harrison, Ann Scarata and Pat. I'm sorry. Let's try this one more again. I'll try my MC voice. At this time, we will have Councilman Duncan Harrison, followed by Deputy Walker Worthy. In that order, please.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. I'm going to keep it short and to the point. My father always told me 1 + 1 = 2. And so when you start coming up with these funky algorithms to divide the money to the schools just to line your own pockets, something isn't right. Governor Christie is simple. You send a state monitor down to monitor the school board and what we're doing, but really you send them to monitor the finances that you're going to put back into your own pocket. 1 + 1 = 2. We're not talking just about giving us some of the money. Because Dr. Martin Luther King gave a speech and he said, all here and now. We want all of our money. Not some of our money, not portions of our money, not bits of our money, but all of our money. We don't want the money in South Dakota. We don't want the money in Pennsylvania. We want the money here in the state of New Jersey, here in our public school system. We want teachers back in the classroom. We want paraprofessionals back in the classroom. We want a good school system for our children. Because when you have a good school system, you have a good community. And when you have a good community, you have a good city. And when you have a good city, you have a great nation. And it all starts with the public school system. And lastly, we don't want the money a year from now. We don't want the money 3 months down the road. We don't want the money 2 days from now. We want the money now. Say it with me, all here and now. All here and now. Thank you.
Walker, here he comes, Walker, on the Trenton zone.
Thank you, Smallwood Johnson. Look, I'm so glad that we're all here to support the Trenton Board of Education. Let's give all our supporters a hand. I've worked for the Trenton Board of Education for almost 18 years, and I can stand before you and tell you that we have the best teachers and paraprofessionals and support staff in the state of New Jersey. We deserve to keep our jobs. We deserve to have our jobs. Trenton is 80,000 people, 7 square miles. I stand within a mile radius of over 30,000 state jobs. People who come to Trenton every day and don't give a you-know-what about Trenton. We can't even work in our state capital where we live. And people want to lay off people in our school district, which is the largest employer, by the way, in our city. Folks, we got to tell the people it's time to get up and unite. It's time to unite. We tired of the bull crap that people been feeding us for years. So while our governor is crisscrossing the state for Donald Trump, he needs to get here and make sure that our jobs are secure. Continue to fight, continue to vote, and continue to be passionate about our people, because the Trenton Board of Education is a place where we work, where we play, and where we know we have the best employees that money can buy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Walker. 2 quick announcements. We have sandwiches here. We have water here. on this side for the babies. Now I know that it's drizzling, but back in the day, we did not let rain stop us. We did not let snow stop us. We refused to let racism stop us. So let us stand in the rain. At this time, we're going to call up Sherry Wilkins to do the spoken word, followed by Alan Wilkins, saxophonist. Then we'll be bringing up our union presidents in that order, please.
For those of you who aren't familiar with spoken word, if you like what the artist is saying, you put your fingers in the air and snap to participate. You put your fingers in the air and snap to participate. So I've been a teacher in the public school system for about 10 years now, and I wrote this spoken word piece that I'd like to share with you today. It's called Tell Me What You Really Know. A teacher's creativity is stifled on a day-to-day basis. Our sense of dignity and ability to make clear and precise decisions based on the needs of our students is stripped by those who feel they know what is best, just because the title they carry and the digits on their paycheck each week says so. That couldn't be furthermore from the truth, especially when 99.99999% of the time, they've never stepped a single foot inside your classroom, delivered a minute mini lesson from the curriculum set forth, or had a meaningful conversation with the single student you're supposed to be entrusted to teach, and in many cases, mother. They don't know that the child you greet each morning has trust issues. They don't know that many of them never sit down to something deemed fit to be called a meal. They wouldn't know that some of them are challenged to use what they've learned inside the walls of my classroom, outside the walls of my classroom. The ones with the fancy titles who stifle the creativity of the teachers, they don't know that you know that some of those students like the back of your hand. They wouldn't understand that some of them see you as, and I quote, the best thing I have in my life right now. The creativity of the teachers is stifled when the pressure is put on because, by golly, the state is here. Well, what happened to the fact that you said you had one of the best staffs ever? I guess that confidence you have goes out the window when the state is here. Well, tell the state to walk a mile in my shoes and then try to come and tell me what to do. Fry some of the bigger fish, the politicians mandating the laws. I was taught in my studies that there had to be a continuity in between home and school for a child to be successful. So shove that thought into your reconstruction and strategic plans. So yes, this comes out of frustration. Frustration because the teacher's creativity is stifled on a day-to-day basis. Our sense of dignity and ability to make clear and precise decisions based on the needs of our students is stripped. Now you tell me, how can that happen? Just because the title they carry and the number of digits on their paycheck each week says they can do so. How could they be given so much power? Especially when 99.99999% of the time, they've never stepped a single foot inside your classroom, delivered a minute mini lesson from the curriculum set forth, or had a brief, meaningful conversation with a single student you're supposed to be entrusted to teach, and in many cases, mother. So no, don't insult the teacher's judgment. Don't attack our worthiness of our talents from gifts from God, or don't bring speculation to the teacher's character or personality, or tell us you said something 50 million times and we're supposed to understand it, all because of your title and the digits on your paycheck make you feel as though you're deemed fit to do so. And this is signed a teacher. This is signed for all the teachers whose creativity and gifts from God will not be stifled, even if the digits on our paycheck are not as great as yours. Thank you.
My wife said a whole lot. But I just want to encourage you to just trust in God and in this situation. So I'm just play this song for you.
All right, let's snap our fingers for the spoken word. And let's be grateful for 'Tis So Sweet to Trust. At this time, we want to make an announcement, thank you so much, that there are food trucks and they have coffee and hot chocolate. We have free food and sandwiches, so we don't want you passing out from hunger. At this time, we're going to call up all our union presidents. So we would ask that Pat Vogt and Ann Scarata from Tessa, if they will come up. Betty Glenn from the Trenton Paraprofessional Association would come up. Larry Loper, the custodian president, if he would come up. Hope Grant, president of the Trenton Association of Supervisors and Principals, to come up. Naomi LaFleur, TEA president, and Lance Lopez from the PBA. Thank you in that order.
Good afternoon. My name is Pat Vogt. I'm president of the Trenton Educational Secretaries Association. I'm a product of the Trenton Public Schools and graduated from Trenton High in 1957.
And my name is Ann Scarata, and I am the vice president of the Trenton Educational Secretaries Association. And I, too, am a graduate of Trenton Central High School, class of 1967. And we believe the children of Trenton today deserve to have the same educational experience and opportunities that we were given. That cannot be achieved with flat funding our urban schools. Flat funding denies educational opportunities and steals the potential futures of our children. Our students deserve better. Every day, the elected officials who work in this building support flat funding. They are stealing from our children. Every day, elected urban politicians allow them to continue flat funding. They are stealing from our children. Every day, the members on our urban boards of education just sit there and watch it continue year after year. They are stealing from our children. And if everyone here today does not rise up, unify, and demand action, then we too are robbing these children of their futures. Our students deserve better. Trenton suffers from a lack of taxable revenue. All these government buildings occupying all of this acreage do not contribute to funding for our public schools. So when the legislators who support flat funding come to work in these buildings and sit at their desks in their comfortable chairs, they need to be reminded their furniture could have been a seat for a child in school, books for a classroom, support for parents who are struggling, supplies for our special needs students, a paraprofessional to help a child learn, a secretary to welcome and register a new student, or a custodian to maintain a clean and safe school building. They need to be reminded our students deserve better. While legislators who support flat funding create opportunities for public schools to fail, the unions in Trenton keep working to help us survive. TEA brought in priority schools and the PSI program. Their Pride and FAST programs provide opportunities for our students and parents they would never have had. The Paraprofessional Association provides additional opportunities through their Pride and Fast programs, continually working with the parents and community to support our children. The unions are doing their part. We are doing better. Every child who is in a charter school in September carries the state funding for their education with them. But when a charter school sends a student back mid-year to a Trenton school, the state funding stays with the charter. We need a new law to bring that money back with the student. Why does the charter school get to keep the money if they no longer have the student? The people in this building can change that, but not if we are silent. Flat funding and an equal education for our children are not a one-day issue on a Sunday afternoon. When you leave here today, I urge you to go back and speak to your family, your neighbors, and your friends. Share the information from today and ask them to become involved. Help is not coming from within this building. If the children in our urban schools, the children of Trenton, are to receive an equal education and an opportunity to have an equal future, then we must all join together and with one voice insist and never let them forget that our urban children deserve better. Thank you.
Just a friendly reminder, union presidents, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Betty Glenn, and I am the president of the Trenton Paraprofessionals Association. The motto of Trenton schools is children come first. But how can we put the children first when the state keeps shortchanging our urban schools? You're not putting children first when you close schools like Stokes Early Childhood Center, our best equipped early childhood facility. You're not putting children first when you fire school employees, including 92 paraprofessionals who help the students with special needs. You're not putting children first when you take away the people who use their own money to make sure students have coats and supplies, uniforms, and food to eat over the weekend. Our students deserve better. They deserve to have the state-of-the-art classroom with technology. They deserve to have well-compensated paraprofessionals and other school employees who are treated fairly and supported so they can do their jobs well. We dedicate our careers and lives to the children of Trenton, and that's why we are here. Our students deserve better. We have so many intelligent students in Trenton. Our students have the potential to reach the stars, but they face a lot of challenges growing up in the urban area. If any, our children need more resources, not fewer. We believe Trenton children deserve to thrive instead of just to survive. Show us that children come first. Invest in urban public schools. We want to send a message to our governor and say, you can Trump behind Trump all you want, but we're going to keep this fight alive. Thank you.
Good afternoon. The school funding formula simply equals, I don't care about the children. They don't care about the education of the children, the health and welfare of the children, the safety of the children. Because the school funding formula affects every facet of a building. Every facet. And if you affect the facets of the building, you don't affect numbers on a sheet of paper. You affect human bodies. It takes bodies to educate these children. Everybody. Teachers, custodians, security, food service, paraprofessionals, secretaries. Every last one of these bodies are being affected by no money given to the urban district, Trenton area. We are being shortchanged in the tune of $80, $90 million versus other districts who have smaller numbers and are getting that money. I am not a politician. I don't follow politics, but I do follow love. These people do not care about our children. They don't love our children. Turn it around and see if they would do the same for their children. This is all about children. But because it's about children, it makes it about me. My unit has lost 150 custodians in 8 years. We have 25 schools, 81 custodians, 76 working. Do the math. We love the children. We still come and do our job. It's not fair, politicians.
Good afternoon. I don't think I heard you. Good afternoon. Greetings from the Trenton Administrators and Supervisors Association. I am Hope Grant and I am the TASA president. I stand as the TASA union president, but I also am the proud principal of Trenton Central High School. All Trenton High School staff, students, and graduates, make some noise. I am so happy to see everyone out here today because when we come together and speak in one voice, our message is louder, our mission becomes clearer, and our expectations become unwavering. Our urban districts across the state are battling the assault on our funding, programs, and schools. When there is a reduction for funding, the public schools, the pipeline to prison is increased. Schools are focusing on educating the whole child. That means that we are educating and serving students academically, mentally, and socially. And servicing the whole child requires proper funding. Our students deserve better. We demand better. We must continue to become their constant voice and their ambassadors, speaking in one voice and one message and understanding our most important voice is the voice of our vote. I'll see you in November. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You fired up? You fired up? Ready to go? Fired up? Fired up? Ready to go. We're here because this is not just a Trenton issue. This is a statewide issue. This, in fact, is a national issue where Black and brown children are being stripped of needed resources, where Black and brown children are not being given the same opportunities as children who live in different zip codes. We are here, not just Trenton, but we are here. Camden is here. Jersey City is here. Newark is here. Atlantic City is here. Patterson is here. Because we are all working in districts where our children are being neglected. Being neglected by the state. And it's not okay because we know that our children deserve better. So for all of you who tweet, I need you to get out your phone. I need you to start sending a message to these elected officials that they will, in fact, fund our schools properly or they will go. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican, because there are plenty Democratic Christy-crats out there. We are not going to accept your nonsense anymore.
our students deserve better. So we're going to continue to unify, to work together, to advocate for our children across this state. It's been said time and time again that in November we're going to let them know. Because the truth of the matter is they want to take us back. They want to take us back pre-Brown, where the schools were, in fact, very separate and very unequal. Right now in this state, our schools are unequal. We have facilities where it rains on our students, where our students are cold in the winter time. We're not going to take this anymore. We're going to organize. Our parents are going to wake up, and they are joining this movement. Yes, it is indeed a movement. And we're going to let them know this is not just a one-weekend show for us. We are going to continue to move forward. We're going to move forward with them or without them, because they may not be the elected official come November. Their aspirations of becoming governor may die, because we're going to go forward ever, backwards never.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Trenton. My name is Lance Lopez, and I'm the president of PBA Local 105, representing New Jersey State Corrections, Juvenile Justice, and Parole Officers, 6,000 active and 12,000 retirees. And I am happy and privileged to be standing here in unity with the educators of our great state of New Jersey. Give yourselves a round of applause. We must start sending a message to the legislature. We have to let them know that if they elect not to introduce legislation to prevent charter schools from taking funds from our city and the urban schools, that they will be out of office. It is time that these legislatures understand that if they don't perform over here in this building as they are requiring the teachers to perform in the schoolhouse, then they need to go. We must all unite together. We must all unite together. Oftentimes we out here fighting each other with the hands up, don't shoot. But the people that are shooting our children are the people who are shooting legislation down that our children deserve. I stand here with you today, and I'm thankful for the NJEA, the TEA, and all those that partnered to put on this rally. I stand here in unity with members of my executive board to say, don't stop the fight. Don't fight just today. Continue to fight, and whatever support that you need from your brothers and sisters in unity from PBA Local 105, we will be here for you, we will stand here for you, we will stand with you and support you. Thank you all and have a good day.
All right, let's give all the union leadership another round of applause. At this time, we want to bring forward the Trenton Deliverance Choir.
You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you to survive. Help me sing it. I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with, agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. Yeah, it's His will. You're all important to me. I need you to survive. You were important to me. Oh, I need you to survive. Oh, survive. Come on, I need everybody out here to say it with me. Come on, I need you. You need me. We're all a part. We're in this thing together. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part. Oh, it is His will. That every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to. Oh, you are important to me. I need you to. Listen like this. I prayed for you. You prayed for me. 'Cause I love you. I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. I need you to. I pray. You pray for me. 'Cause I love you. I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. I love you. I need pray for me. I love you, yes. I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. It is His will. It is His will that every need shall be supplied. You are important. I need every one of you to survive, to survive. We can't do it alone. We need everybody to help. You are important to me. I need you to. You are important. I need you to survive. I need you to survive. Come on, I need everybody to clap their hands. If you need me, I need you to survive. Hallelujah. Come on, everybody, put your hands together like this. Come on, everybody.
in here. Woo! But we got some folks, Camden in the house. Camden in the house. We want to call them now. Keith Howell, Camden teacher. Gary Frazier, Save Camden Schools. Ramshad Dickerson, Camden Parents Union, amen. And also with them will be the one, the only, G2 Brown, Journey for Justice. Come on up. Every praise. Come on up, Camden.
My name is Keith Howell. I've been a teacher in the Camden school system for 22 years. I've been teaching our beautiful black and brown students. I've been nominated for Teacher of the Year several times. And I'm consistently leading our students to their wealthy place. But not this year. Since the state has taken over, we have been going through hell. Teachers and students in Camden. This year, for the first time, I received bad evaluations. And my situation is not unique. Trenton, the rest of the state, if you allow the state to take over, you senior teachers can forget it. After 1 year, you'll be put on probation. And then they'll bring you up on tenure charges. The evaluations are very subjective. First, second, third year teachers who I mentor are getting better evaluations than me. It's a setup for Teach of America. This is what happens when the state takes over. This is Christie's blueprint. The same person who is pushing Trump. Mastery Charter, Uncommon Charter. They have taken over the city of Camden. And for the community, this is what it looks like for your children. They have to walk in a line. They're not allowed to talk. They're not given critical thinking skills or creative lessons. They are being trained, at best, to be minimum wage workers. Many will end up in the prison because they don't have the skills. This is what you can expect. You need to listen to your union. Trenton, you have a great union leader. Naomi LaFleur, Jamie Williams, people like that. These are strong women who remind me of Fannie Lou Hamer, Harriet Tubman, Ida B. Wells. You need to stay beyond them. Teachers and community, you must unite for your children. Ministers and imams, you must be involved in our schools. The Bible and the Quran speaks against the oppression of the poor and calls for justice. You must be the spiritual vanguard and the front line in the churches, masjids, and mosques. You must be actively involved in saving our children. Your prayers must be in faith. And faith without works in the schools is dead. So you must be active. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. This government is about greed. It's not about the children. So we need to stand up. I am moved by Psalms 127 every day. Children are a heritage from the Lord, like arrows in the hand of a mighty man. So are the children and youth. My students are my arrows. Happy is the man who has his quiver full of them. He shall not be ashamed, but he shall stand and speak with the enemies in the gate. And so today, I speak to Trenton, I speak to Camden, I speak across this nation that I am in that gate. And I will continue to fight the good fight of faith for my students, just like my ancestors. And I stand on the shoulders of Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Ida B. Wells, and countless others who fought for the liberation of our country and our people, black people, brown people. God bless you. Power to the people.
Good afternoon, family. How you feeling? All right, so we are Camden up here. My name is Ronsha Dickerson. I represent Unity Community Center and Camden Parents Union. So it's the organization inside the Unity Community Center. I stand here with the voice of the parent. I haven't heard the voice of the parent today. Let me hear it for the parents out here today. And I want to hear it for the parents. The reason why I say that is because we don't realize how big we are in this fight. This is a beautiful sea of humanity of different people out here, but as the parent of today, we had this on our back. It is right on our shoulders to show our power. Now, I come from the city of Camden, where they say nothing good comes from. You know, they have taken over our city. We are oppressed. It is modern day slavery going on in Camden, New Jersey. Plantation politics, machine politics at its best. However, we have courageous people standing up here showing you that we speak for Camden. Not the media, not the people who think they can come in and organize us. We speak for Camden. So the people behind me, the people who are out here who know Camden, know that these faces and these voices are what represent Camden. I am invested in this community. I have 6 children, and those children have 6 more friends, and those friends have 6 more friends. I am a community mother. I am a wife. I am a stay-at-home mom. I am for black marriage and black love. I believe in the beauty of humanity. However, if we continue to let these colonizers, continue to put Camden in a place that they're trying to move Trenton towards, trying to put Newark in, this statewide approach has to be beyond just us being up here for one rally. It doesn't matter about the numbers, it matters about the voice. I don't care if there's 4 people out here, the voice is what matters. We have to represent ourselves. We represent us, no one speaks for us. So as a parent in Camden, it's important I speak for parents. Education should not be this hard. It should not be a market for people to get jobs and 6 figures for their college funds for their children. We don't want you reading books about how to have cultural sensitivity for our babies. We want to see black and brown children being taught by black and brown teachers. We want to see people on the ground fighting for our children, and parents, it's your job to speak unapologetically for the rights for your children. Don't let anyone tell you your voice doesn't matter. I don't care what their title is. I don't care if they're a teacher, administrator, superintendent. I don't care if they're the mayor. I don't care if they're the president. You are a parent, these are your children. Because without your babies in these schools, ain't nobody getting paid. Let's have the real conversation. Let's have the real conversation. So aside from politics, aside from who ain't with who's divided, let's talk about the parent who has to hold all this together and say, my children deserve better, and I'm gonna get that better for them. So I leave you with this. You all should know one thing about this life. You gotta stay woke. Know that this right here is Oppression 101. Oppression 101, and we are living on a true modern day plantation. If we don't represent us, they will keep disrepresenting us every day they can. So to all the reformers / colonizer, the parents are woke. We are here. We are here, we are relevant, and we will not stop until our children get the best education ever. It doesn't matter what city. It matters now. Today, stand up and fight back. Stay woke. Good afternoon, New Jersey. My name is Vida Roach from Vida Neal, and I'm a political blogger at the Camden. And I got on this fight because my great niece came to my house and told me that the kids in the uncommon school had air conditioning. And in the school she was in, was a public school building, and they went into the 3rd floor and renovated it for uncommon school. Now I want you to know that this fight is real in Camden, because what we're going through, none of you are going through. The governor has came in and taken over our police department. We got kids carrying guns, babies dying in the street every day, and education comes last. And what I'm here to tell you today is, we in Camden are united under one front. It's called Recall Peace Out. Because this is what we're saying to our mayor. We're going to recall you and peace out. The children come first. When you sit down to the table and eat your food, if you're not feeding your children first, then you're neglecting your children. That's right. And in the educational system, I say to you today, if our brown and black and white babies don't come first, it's a problem. So as I stand here in front of you today, representing the city of Camden, I'm letting you know that the governor is on his way out. He is on his way out. We don't need nobody who don't take care of our children in this state. He's running around here with Donald Trump looking so stupid. But at the end of the day, he needs to get himself back here to the great state of New Jersey, which I must say is the richest state in the nation. Right. And I want to say I come from the poorest and dangerous state in the nation. All right. All right.
Talk about that. So hello everyone, my name is Jerry Frazier. I'm a community activist out of the city of Camden. Right now, I'm looking for the movers and the shakers as I look around here. And y'all know how we get down on the ground. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? What do we want it? If we don't get it, 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 thank you. So I'm out here today, yes I am, representing on behalf of my city, Camden City, New Jersey, known as the most dangerous city in America. And as you just heard from a number of my fellow colleagues here, that we face a lot of what many of you do not face. We are under the Urban Hope Act that has been orchestrated by Donald Norcross and his brother George Norcross. We stand up here today because the truth has to be told today. The truth must be told today. We continue to sit down and endorse candidates who are part of the very problem that we are having in our traditional educational system. The truth of the matter is, when we meet on common ground, we should work together. But when you go against the will of those in our community, when you continue to fire our educators, our paraprofessionals, we have an issue with that. Any endorsement to any candidate under any leadership, under anyone, is a problem for us. The Urban Hope Act in the city of Camden is towering over us. It is closing a lot of our public schools, and our educators continue to be slaughtered in the city of Camden. Accountability must be held across the board of those who are in the leadership, from the state level to the local level to the national level of the Education Association. We are tired of playing games. This revolution that you are seeing across America is real. And it is now landed here in New Jersey to gather each and every one of you. That our children must come first. That we will not allow these political cronies to continue to come in and slap corporate names on our public schools. We talk about equity, but the equity is what you take out of our traditional educational budget and dump into the charter movement. Our forefathers have died for us for the right to be able to attend public schools, to walk down the same street, drink out of the same water fountains. We speak truth to light here today to all of you, that it may be a reminder that the games are over. Those of you who run the Education Association, those of you who are responsible for the educators here, that are here from Jersey City, Trenton, Newark, Patterson, you have a job to do, and that is to represent these educators. That is to stand for them. That is to fight for them. That is to go to collective bargaining for their rights. Our paraprofessionals are the bread and the home for our educators. Those paraprofessionals outside of our classroom do us a great injustice. We are tired. We are tired of saying we are tired. We are tired of meeting after the meeting, after the meeting, after the meeting, after the meeting. We call for action. Action doesn't mean just rallying. We are accustomed to coming out here. We do this in rain, sleet, or snow. This is nothing new to us. But the direct call to action is those who are in the leadership to be held accountable. To be held accountable for the backdoor meetings that they continue to have, and then come out here and have us to have rallies in the name of their sakes for them. I say to you, no more. If they cannot do the will of us, we must remove them. I said we must remove them. We are only as strong as the next person we have standing next to us. Do not leave here today without going back into your community. Before you vote for anybody, before you sit up here and bring anyone in education, know who they are affiliated with. Because the person standing next to you just might be the one that they use to get rid of you. Any of you that are educators, you know how it goes. They'll bring somebody in, have you train them, and then what happens to you? You lose your job. We've been in this fight for a little over 6 years, and we have saw the demise in the city of Camden and all across the state of New Jersey. And what we were able to do was to bring everybody together across the state, allied up and ready to move. So let me leave you with this. If you do not understand what a revolution is, you are truly in one right now, and it will carry across America. But first, we come from New Jersey.
So I have the honor of being up here on the microphone right now to bring up a national leader. I'm talking about someone who has traveled nationally to representing Black and brown children and finding ways to get equal funding, equality, and to speak on behalf of the needs, the lack thereof, of what's going on inside of public education. This brother, I call him a brother because he is a brother and a mentor, has not only been on the front line for so long, he's sacrificed his body. He's one of the leaders of the Diet Hunger Strike in Chicago, and he put himself on the front line for over a month, eating nothing, to show how important that education is to him. He is the leader of a national organization that has been doing great work all across America, and he came all the way from Chicago to let you know that he is here for the true fight. I give you none other than Journey for Justice leader and executive director, G.T. Brown. Give it up, come on!
Good afternoon. Buenos tardes. What's up? All right. As I struggled with sort of what to talk about today, I want to first say that I'm thankful to the NJEA for inviting me. I'm thankful to many of the powerful Journey for Justice organizations that are here today. Pulse in Newark, New Jersey, make some noise. All right, Camden Parents Union, make some noise. My brothers and sisters in Jersey City, make some noise. Our brothers and sisters of Save Our Schools Camden, make some noise. And what I'd like to share with you is that I'm just a community organizer from the south side of Chicago. I'm a parent of a Chicago public school student, and I'm in the neighborhood where privatization started. I'm from the Bronzeville community. This is where Barack Obama was a state senator. This is where Arnie Duncan's mother teaches an after-school program at a school called Jackie Robinson. We've been fighting school privatization in my neighborhood since 1999, so this is not new to us. When the city of Chicago decided to tear down Chicago public housing, they began closing schools. And we organized ourselves to fight against it. But not only fight against it, but fight for what we're for. See, I come from a city that you all have heard about Chirac, right? They call it Chirac. I come from a city where on every other block is a different street organization, a different clique. And young people are losing their lives at a pace that I have never seen before. It reminds me of the explosion of the crack epidemic, but it is completely out of control. But what they don't tell you in the media is that Chicago is one of the more hyper-segregated cities in the United States. Amen. That in Chicago, in many of our neighborhoods, and I want you to make some noise if you can relate to what I'm saying, the liquor store is the grocery store. Amen. There is no quality affordable housing. Good schools are sabotaged by school closings, or being receiving school for school closings. We don't have hospitals in our neighborhood. So we live in food deserts and school deserts. All right. And these conditions create a lot of the things that we see on a daily basis. So I want to talk to you, brothers and sisters, about the illusion of school choice. What we've learned around the country is that privatizers, or we call them colonizers, intentionally neglect our schools until our schools are starved for resources, and then they implement their solution. Their solution is to close our schools, to turn them around, or to give them to private charter operators. So for many of our families, where we work in 1 or 2 jobs, where we struggle, and we pay our taxes faithfully, the return on our investment is to sabotage the education of our children. All right. The return on our investment is to, on purpose, sabotage the education of our children. I want you to look at many of the babies that are here today. What could be more evil than that? What could be more evil than to make policy that underserves a child on purpose? This is what you're dealing with. And what we are recognizing, brothers and sisters, and what's so important to know is that this is a symptom of the problem. Can I tell a little truth today? I want to talk to my white brothers and sisters for a minute. Now, before I go, I need y'all to do something, because I don't want y'all trying to chase me out of Trenton. All right, so I need everybody to do something. Could everybody raise their right hand and say, I say your name, do solemnly swear to have an open mind and not hate the messenger, and don't chase G2 out of town after you finish. All right, my white brothers and sisters, you with me? I need you to answer these questions honestly. How many of you grew up with decent schools? Raise your hand. All right, most of you. How many of you all grew up with grocery stores in your community? You can go by age, you can go, okay. How many of you all had decent housing? Okay. How many of you all had a hospital in your town, in your community you know you could go to? How many of you all had to do a sit-in to get it? How many of you had to get arrested to get it? See, when we're talking about equity, we're not addressing the point. The reason why they're underfunding schools It's the same reason that they shot Michael Brown dead in the middle of the street and left him out there for 4 hours.
Come on.
The reason why they're underfunding schools is the same reason why Laquan McDonald got shot 16 times in the middle of the street and left out there like an animal.
Come on.
It's the same reason that U.S. presidents would not sign the anti-lynching law at the turn of the 20th century. The reason they underfund our schools is that America, brothers and sisters, has never reconciled its hatred for black people.
Come on!
America has never reconciled and never been held accountable for the fact that they used to take African American babies and take them to the banks of the river in North Carolina and South Carolina and use them as alligator bait.
Come on!
There's never been accountability for that type of hatred, and that hatred poisons policy today. Education is not complicated. If you look at the United Nations statistics, America ranks 19th in education, but when you take out poverty, we're number 2. So we know how to create good schools, we just don't want to do it for black and brown kids.
Come on!
Which is why it's acceptable for charter schools like Noble Street Charter School or Success Charter School in New York or Champion Charter School in New Orleans to reject Latino brothers and sisters that are English language learners. Why it's okay for schools like Urban Prep. How many of y'all ever heard of Urban Prep? Raise your hand. That's a school in Chicago where they say 100% of the brothers graduate and go to college. And they dress the brothers up in red ties. And they stand there and they take the photo out. And the brothers go to college and then promptly leave college. The truth is, Urban Prep, only 41% of the freshmen make it to their senior year. Because if a young brother has special needs, they're gone.
Go!
If a young brother gets fined and he can't pay the fines, they counsel him out.
Go!
This is not education, this is hustling. It's hustling. So what we're saying, brothers and sisters, if we want equity in public education, we must not only have fair funding, we must have, as Gary said, accountability to the public. You must have local control. The great author Alice Walker said, no one is your friend who demands your silence or denies your right to grow. When they take away your right to vote, they are demanding your silence. If you look at the Eli Broad Institute, are y'all with me? If you look at the Eli Broad Institute training manual, it says a prerequisite to school reform is eliminating elected school boards. So when they eliminate elected school boards, they remove your right to oppose them greasing the rails for politically connected private school operators. The last thing I'm going to leave you with, brothers and sisters, because I might be going too long.
Go ahead, old brother. Take your time.
We all right?
Go ahead.
Here's what we know. 75% of charter schools do the same or worse than traditional public schools. Here's what we know. In Chicago, since 2002, only 18% of the schools that have replaced shut down schools perform well. And half of those 18% are selective enrollment. Here's what we know. 7 years after Hurricane Katrina, after one of the worst natural disasters in the history of this country, when they branded the largest black homeowner base in the United States as refugees, the largest black homeowner base in this country, they not some super right-wing news channel, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS called them refugees. And what that did is that set the tone for their treatment. So they took away all their public schools. They took away their right to vote and created the Bessie School Board. And 7 years after Hurricane Katrina, after billions of dollars of investment in privatization, 79% of the schools were DF schools. So brothers and sisters, Where is the evidence that privatization works? There is none. There is no evidence that closing schools and expanding charter schools improves the education for children in any sustained environment. So why are we accepting them doing this? So you heard my sister Rancha talk to you about Chicago. And as bad as Chicago is, we're fighting in Chicago. And I was on the local school council at a high school called Walter Diet High School. In 2008, we had the largest increase of students going to college in the entire city. In 2011, we won the ESPN Rise Up Award. We beat out 600 other schools around the country, won a $4 million renovation of our gym, and the next year they closed the school. So parents in our community said, no, that's it. So we began to develop our own vision for the school, and we developed a plan by engaging over 1,200 residents called the Walter Diet Global Leadership and Green Technology School with 6 feeder schools as part of a sustainable community school village. The head of the American Education Research Association said it was the best plan they had ever seen. Now, any school district with common sense would support something like that, right? But because our base is working in low-income African-American families, and they don't want us in Bronzeville anyway, because we're 10 minutes from downtown Chicago and right off the lakefront, politics ruled over what was good for children. So they refused to support our plans. We met with every peon you could think, can I say that? We met with every peon you could think about. We met with every bootleg elected official who was carrying the water for privatization. Come on. We met with every appointed school board member that was pro-privatization, and then we marched to people's homes. We did sit-ins. We marched 750 people to the mayor's house, and it got to the point that we realized that they were not going to listen. So we began to plan for a hunger strike. I want you to hear me. In 2015, when this happened, in order to get a quality neighborhood school in our community, we had to wage a hunger strike because the value system of the political leadership of the city of Chicago hates black people. And so it doesn't matter how good our plan was, but we waged a hunger strike and it became international news. And I'm here to report to you that despite the fact that Mayor Rahm Emanuel was one of the most powerful Democrats in the United States, we took him down more than just a peg or two. And in September of 2016, this high school is opening as an open enrollment neighborhood high school. So I'm not here to rah-rah. I'm a community organizer, which means that we work to master the artistic science of moving people. We have a base. We don't move just from what we say. We have members. We speak power to power. And what I'm here to say to you, brothers and sisters, one of the greatest community organizers in the history of this country was Mama Ella Baker, who was ostracized in the civil rights movement because she criticized hero worship. When she said, stop making these people think that you're the leader of the movement, she was ostracized. But the young people, the Stokely Carmichaels, the Diane Nashes, those young people viewed her as a hero. And she had a quote. I'm going to use 2 of them before I close. She said, until the killing of black children, black mothers' sons, is as important as the killing of white children, white mothers' sons, we who believe in freedom will not rest until it comes. So I say to you all here, until the education of black and brown children, black and brown mothers, sons, and daughters is as important as the education of white children, white mothers, sons, and daughters, we who believe in freedom will not rest until it comes. And you don't need anybody, excuse me, to speak for you. You don't need surrogates. You don't need advocates. The diet hunger strike was won by regular mamas from what we call the low end on the south side of Chicago. Like right down the street is the hood. We're from the hood. And we broke down the most powerful fundraiser in this country for the Democratic Party. Rahm Emanuel was the bag man for Bill Clinton. He was the money man. Can I tell some truth? Go ahead on. He was the money man for Richard Daley. Richard Daley gave him to Bill Clinton. He was Bill Clinton's biggest fundraiser, which is why he became a congressman and eventually became Barack Obama's chief of staff. He is the money man in the Democratic Party. And right now, because of us and others, he is a mayor in exile. He has got some of the lowest approval ratings in the history of politics. So what I'm saying to you, brothers and sisters, is that change is made when you have the time, the space, and the will. And the great Mother Ella Baker also said, strong people don't need no leaders. Thank you very much. All right.
And let's reiterate, because we have the problem in Trenton that our brown babies are being killed daily. So we need to stand for that also. At this time, we want to bring forward Katrina Smith and Adjua LaFleur to have the spoken word, and they will be followed by the Trenton Central High School Inspirational Choir. Inspirational Choir, get in line and get ready. Thank you. Here we stand, once again as one fighting for justice on this land. Am I not a man? Do I not breathe the same air as you? So tell me, why is it that we so often get underfunded in all areas needed to help us and our children break through? Put yourself in our shoes. You would want the same equal rights too. We are living in a time of great change, where things that were once familiar become strange. Our eyes have been set free. No longer will we just sit back, but we will stand up for our equality. I'll tell you that a greater love for our fellow men we shall see. For the time has come, my chosen ones, to fight. It's needed with our life to preserve what we so rightfully deserve. Trust me, it's been a long time coming, but I promise that we shall see what so many fought for before us, that right now we can claim our victory. That we must stand as one, for it takes the whole army. So bring whatever you can dream of, for we are not moving until that which we believe we achieve on this land. We are not afraid. Shout with me, woman, child, and man. Shout, here we stand. Here we stand. So let it be written. So let it be done. Today, truth has won.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. When is someday? Someday should have been yesterday or probably the day before, and someday is not here today, so I'm hesitant to look forward to tomorrow because I don't think that someday will be there either. When is someday? The someday where I no longer have to fight against social injustice because everyone has been lawfully given their God-given rights. When is someday? The someday where this wealth gap will cease to exist and all of our money doesn't go to the 1%. The Sunday when our Black and Latino men will stop being pushed into the majority of the jail cells, even though they are considered minority in the population. When is Sunday? The Sunday when we will stop profiting off of slavery, also known as the United States prison system. The Sunday where everyone will be able to feed their families because they get paid more than $7.50 an hour. The Sunday where you don't have to be hesitant to hand in a job application because your name is Donquisha. When is Sunday? The Sunday when driving while Black becomes a myth. The Sunday you don't have to worry about the Christie starving our cities of the resources that we deserve. When is Sunday? The Sunday when they will stop taking money from our communities. The Sunday when they will stop cutting money from our children's recreational programs. The Sunday when they will stop starving our schools of funds. The Sunday where our children don't have to worry about their music and sports and arts and after school programs being snatched away from them. When is Sunday? The Sunday when our red, Black, yellow, and brown don't have to rally for equity. We are the new majority. Why must we continue to wait for someday? We are the new majority. Open your mind and know that we don't have to satisfy white America because we can create a new status quo. We are the new majority. Let our children know that they are kings and queens and that they deserve nothing but the best. We are the new majority. Together we can work to disassemble the school to prison pipeline. We are the new majority. Stop fighting with separate fingers because when we fight together we can make a fist. We are the new majority and we have the power to make someday today.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
Come on.
Testing.
How's everybody out there doing today? How's everybody out there doing today? To come on, Trenton, New Jersey, make some noise! Come on, y'all can do better than that. Let me hear you! We, the Trenton Central High School Inspirational Choir, just want to leave, amen, something simple with you, simply saying that we're not going back. No matter what nobody say, we refuse to go back. And we just want to encourage you on today. Choir say, I've been changed. Healed, free, delivered. I found joy. I found peace. Oh, grace and favor. I've been changed. Yes, I've been healed. Oh, free, delivered. I found joy. Yes, I found peace. Oh, grace and favor. Oh, and right now, today, I've been changed. I've been changed. I have waited, and I won't me by. Say I won't go back. I can't go back to the way before. Say I won't go back. Before. Well, say I won't go back. I can't go back to the way before. Come on, help me sing it loud. Everybody say, I won't go back. I can't to the way before. Never will go back. I never will go back. Never will go back to the way it was. Never will go back. I never will go back. Never will go back to the way it was. Oh, never will go back.
will go back. They're trying to take us back to pre-Reconstruction. But at this time, I'm telling you that I just feel like preaching. But right now I want to bring up one of our most outstanding advocates for special education, parents and children, Nicole Whitfield and Samantha Lamb. They will be followed by Ron Greco from the Jersey City Education Association. After him will be Gary Melton from the Atlantic County Education Association. Followed after him will be Marilla Holmes from the Trenton Child Study Team. Excuse me, Dr. Marilla Holmes, Reverend Doctor. And followed her from the NAACP will be Corinne Grooms, in that order, please.
I need a step stool. Okay, thank you, Samantha. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm Nicole Whitfield. I'm the Executive Director of Special Parent Advocacy Group, and I come to you today because I speak for the voiceless. I speak for the nonverbal babies. I speak for our autistic children, our children with developmental delays, our children with mental illness, emotional and behavioral disabilities. And I just want to say, you know, I'm very, very, very thankful for the Trenton Education Association for putting this together. Because let's keep it all the way real. This would not have happened if we sat back and waited on our boards and our administrators of our public schools to do this. Why? Because our administration and our boards, the status quos remain the same, and their pays end up still on the increase, while our direct service employees remain on the decrease. So our direct service employees are being laid off, but our administrators still remain the same as far as their pays, and even so, they end up with increases every year, and our children get cut of the most valuable services. You better assume, and I'm talking to the parents, I need all the parents to pay attention. You better assume that our boards and our administrators don't want to service our kids because of money. That's the bottom line. We need to hold our boards and our administrators accountable. Do not get upset with our case managers and our teachers, because they're only taking orders from a group of people who are ineffective leaders. Don't be upset with them. They're doing their job. But there are people that are on top that are giving these orders to cut our therapists, our speech therapists, our physical therapists, our occupational therapists, our paraprofessionals. All of the direct service employees are being cut. But we don't see our administrators and our boards up here rallying for this. This was all started by the Trenton Education Association. So I applaud everybody for being out here and coming out here and standing with us. Because if you're not with us, you're the enemy. Parents, if there is an issue with your child's individual education plan, your IEP, if there are issues with your children getting services, if your kids are being pulled from out-of-district placements because the district doesn't have money to pay for it, I urge you to file with the New Jersey Department of Education. You need to file those state complaints. You need to file for due process. And if you don't know how to do that, you need to reach out to Special Parent Advocacy Group. Make sure you get your pen and piece of paper out right now. Take this phone number, 609-203-5995. I guarantee you that one of our parent advocates will walk you through the process, but you need to continue to file complaints, because we need to flood the New Jersey Department of Education with complaints. We need to put the paper pushers to work so that they'll pay attention to what's going on with our special needs babies. And this is not just a Trenton issue. This is in every inner city in the state of New Jersey and probably across America, that our special needs kids are being neglected to save a dollar. So as parents, you need to empower yourselves and educate yourselves and go to the right people to do what you need to do to make sure your child is serviced. Do not rely on the public school system, I should say. Don't rely on them and assume that they are going to best service your child when they have money issues. It's not going to happen. Do not think that they are going to automatically put your child in the right placement according to their disability, because it's not going to happen. Because there is clearly a funding issue here. And our black and brown children with special needs are being neglected. It is a direct attack on black and brown special needs children, because majority of these cuts go on our special needs kids' backs. So, parents, you need to be engaged, you need to be asking questions, and you need to be active in your child's education. Stop sitting back and allowing the school district to do everything, because you are going to wind up with a 21-year-old child that's sitting home with no adult services, no transition services, and no real plan. And that is not a good situation for you, because parents need to work. And once your child ages out of this school system, where are they gonna go? So that's why you need to make sure that your child is in the appropriate program and get the appropriate services so they can be successful as adults with disabilities in the community. Wake up and pay attention, because if not, you will regret it. And I also charge our boards, our administrators, our politicians, stop sitting back and letting corporate America take over. Because at the end of the day, your term will be up. You won't get our vote. Believe me, you will not get our votes. Pay attention. Now I'm going to turn this over to Samantha Lamb, but thank you for your time. And like I said, parents, wake up. And if you have an issue, come see us. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not going to be before you guys long. Nicole spoke and she said pretty much everything that we as Special Parent Advocacy Group and advocates have to say, but I want to speak directly to the parents for a few minutes. If you're a parent, raise your hand. If you're a parent, just raise your hand for a second. From me to you, there is no other more important job than the one that you have been given by God as being a parent to a child. And that's not just a biological parent, by the way. I am a foster parent as well as a biological parent. That's grandparents who parent children for children who can't parent their own children. All of us are included. We have been given the most important job that we could ever have. That more important than anybody that is employed in this building, that building, and in fact, the White House. President Obama will tell you any day the most important job he has is to be the father to his children. So you have a very important job, and I'm here today to ask you to please open your eyes. Go to your neighbor's house, open their eyes. Go to your neighbor across the street's house, take their hand, open their eyes, because they are counting on us being asleep. They are counting on us not paying attention. They are counting on the parents being docile and complacent, and we can no longer take that stance. It is our responsibility to take the power that belongs to us. The children are ours. The schools are theirs. We employ the people who make these decisions to make these cuts. Their jobs would not be in place if our children were not in place, and our kids wouldn't be there if we decided to pick up and go. So we need to empower ourselves to realize the power that we hold, the power that we have, and the control that we can take. We control what goes on with our children. Every day it is our responsibility to be engaged, to know what's going on, to tell someone else what's going on. If you hear about a problem that's happening, take charge. Tell somebody who you think might be able to help. It is not a one person's job, a one-man job to do this. They say all the time it takes a village. It does take a village. I can stand here and attest, I could not raise my children by myself. It has taken a village, my friends, my family. So please, wake up. Wake up, parents. Wake up, parents. Wake up, parents. It is our responsibility to make sure that the injustice that we are standing here and talking about does not continue. We cannot allow anyone else to control what happens in the lives of our children. Thank you.
How many enjoyed Trenton Central High School Choir? All right, this is what we need you to do. Find the choir director. Where's Gary at? Gary, where'd you go? There's Gary, he's on the phone. I think he got on like a lavender shirt and tie. Gary, come on down here so they can see you again. Come further down. Move quickly. Move quickly, quickly. You see him running? Everybody see him running? All right, find him. The choir is going abroad this summer and they need donations. Say donations. They can't fly on their good looks. They need some dollar bills, y'all. So see Gary to make donations for the choir. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Greetings from Jersey City, New Jersey, up north on the Turnpike. All right, we have some Jersey City people in the house. My hat's off to Naomi and Janice and the Trenton Education Association for putting this all together on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Although we are an hour away up North Jersey, we share a lot of commonalities. We cannot allow superintendents and mayors of cities that are making deals with the governor who resides in the State House behind us Monday through Friday and the legislators to sell out our public school children. Jersey City has a similar past as does Trenton. We were an industrial powerhouse in the day. Jersey City has gone through and continues to go through a great gentrification process at this time. So as we have the tale of two cities in Jersey City, I see the Jim Crow that perpetuated in America up until the 1960s and 70s, it's creeping back to Jersey City. We have very poor, dilapidated, disgusting school buildings where our children of color and Latino and Asian children go, and the children predominantly who are white and the privileged few colored children attend the schools in our downtown portion of Jersey City, have fabulous facilities. And the politicians don't know what I'm talking about because they don't want to know what I'm talking about. The governor, Christopher Cerf, who is the Commissioner of Education, now turned superintendent in Newark. The superintendent of Jersey City, Marcia V. Lyles. White people and black people, these superintendents and cronies are ushering in Jim Crow once again to oppress people of color in these urban areas. They're bringing in their charter friends of all different colors because they're making a buck on the back of poor black and Latino children in our inner cities. We have a school in Jersey City where we had a fight, and Monique is here, for over 2 years to replace bullet hole-ridden windows in the school. I traveled downtown Jersey City, and the classes of predominantly white children have Apple Chromebooks and smartboards and buildings that are under 10 years old. I taught in Lincoln High School, which is over 100 years old. We have buildings from the 1880s and the 1890s where all of our children of color attend with plumbing issues and lead issues and boarded up windows. And the superintendent, Marcia V. Lyles and Christopher Cerf,
and the mayor and the governor are paying thousands of dollars a day to consultants and law firms that are pillaging off the backs of the residents of Jersey City and Trenton and Camden and Newark, New Jersey. We have the power at the ballot box. Whether you are black or white or Latino or Asian or whatever you are, people that are coming into this country, you are entitled to a free, quality public education, just as we had and our ancestors had. We must use the power of the ballot box to beat back the Broad Academy superintendents, such as Marshall Lyles in Jersey City, and the superintendent in Trenton that are in cahoots, and Christopher Surf in Newark that are making backdoor deals with the mayor, Stephen Sweeney, and the people in this state house behind me. We must stick together. November, June will be here before you know it, the primary elections in November. Every one of you must promise to get 20 people to the ballots, to the voting places in November, and vote for change, vote for true democratic processes. Get behind people like Naomi and Janice and the Trenton EA and the Camden Education Association and the Newark Teachers Union and the Jersey City Teachers Union and every other urban community in this state where these opportunists, whether they are white or black, they have an agenda, and it is to usher in Jim Crow and suppress the parents and the students. This is the United States of America. Let us remember that. Exercise our democratic rights. Thank you, and God bless America.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gary Melton. I'm the president-elect of Atlantic County Council of Education Association and also the senior vice president of the Atlantic City Education Association, the city in which is known as the most financially strapped city in the country as of today. And I've listened to many speakers speak this afternoon and this morning, and you know, I have to offer my kind of twist on equity and funding. You know, one thing that I do relish is history. And this game has been started many, many years ago. Back when slavery began and they brought black people over to this country and they gave us the inside of the hog instead of the hog. And black folk knew how to take that inside and make chitlins. They knew how to take those pieces and make scrapple. And the problem today is they still think we're chitlin and scrapple eaters. They still believe that we don't know what it's like to live off the good of the land. And because of that, they feel as if they don't have to fund us the way that they will fund other groups. They feel that we are used to living a certain kind of way. Let me explain it like this. If I gave this side over here a half a glass of water, and I gave this side over here just an empty glass of water, and I began to fill both glasses equally, sooner or later this side will overflow, but this side would never get to the point where this side is. And so you can't have equity unless you first make things equal. You can't have equity unless you first build schools that look like theirs, that act like theirs, that seem like theirs. We can't have equity while our children come to school and not wear their uniform and be suspended. We can't have equity if our children come to school and kicked out for the smallest of reasons. We cannot have equity if we have school systems that just seek to put our children in jail rather than educate them. We can't have equity unless we as a community say enough is enough. You know, I'm kind of old school. I believe that if something ain't right, it ain't never going to get right unless we make it right. And so there comes a time when, regardless of what a politician looks like, he could be black as tar or white as the new driven snow. But if he don't act like you and talk like you and represent you appropriately, it's time for that person to go. You know, we get so tired sometimes of saying that we're tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired. Well, it seems to me, if you're tired enough that you'll stand up on your feet and you'll stand for what's right, not only in Trenton, but in Passaic and in Newark and in Atlantic City. Don't let them divide us as a state. Because one thing I know for sure, if you're black, everybody knows it. And they don't care if you're black down south or black up north, you're still black. If you're Spanish, they know whether you're Spanish when you walk into a room. And so it's time for us, as an education leader, as an instructor, as an educator, it's time for us to represent not only ourselves and our union, but the children that we teach. I want everyone here to be encouraged, because I want you to know that I've already looked over into the hill and I saw that special city. And I don't want you to be afraid, because it is filled with giants of Anak. But we are well able to take this city. If we bound together, if we believe together, if we march together, if we stop fighting against one another, but if we start fighting on for what is right, then I promise you, I'll meet you in that city. God bless you.
Good afternoon. Today I proudly stand here representing the 240,000 students in the state of New Jersey who have individual education plans and receive related services. Yes, I represent the special needs population of New Jersey, and particularly the 2,300 students that we have right here in the capital city public school system that have IEPs and receive related school services. And I'm here to tell the people who inhabit this building behind me, shame on you. Shame on you, the legislative leadership of New Jersey. Today, we must understand why our urban schools are in the predicament that they're in. It's something called the School Formula Reform Act. And what that means is that particularly for special education students, they take the state average, which is 14%. And we all know in our urban school districts, the classification rate is around 20 to 22%. And let me tell you what the people in the building behind us did. They said, you know what, we're going to take the state average and we're going to distribute funds to those urban education districts based on this state average. So what that means, since this Reform Act has gone into place, special education students have lost over $161 million. That is right. No one's talking about that. And the reason why we're unable to fund special education based on the student's disability, which the federal law IDEA tells us to, is because the legislators in this building passed a Reform Act that discriminates against our special ed students. So what does that mean? Right here in the city of Trenton, we laid off all of our speech therapists. And please understand, the #1 disability category in the state of New Jersey is what? Speech and language disability. So how do you tell me here in this capital school district that you lay off all speech therapists when there's currently a national crisis to hire enough? And not only did you stop at our speech therapists, you laid off all our occupational therapists, all of our physical therapists, and not only did you stop at the related services, you laid off 3 of our child study teams. Right now, we're case managing somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 students apiece. The national average for child study team case management is 35. So you tell me, to the people who inhabit this building behind me, I'm here today to stand to give them notice, i.e. Goliath. I represent someone named David. And guess what? We have 5 smooth stones in our sackcloth. And we're willing and we're able to stand on behalf of those students who you have now put at disadvantage because of this form and formula. So this is what I want to tell you. Goliath, here we come.
Good afternoon. My name is Corrine Grooms, and I'm here on behalf of the Trenton chapter of the NAACP. Today, we've all heard that our children deserve better, and yes, our children do deserve better. The question that we have for you today is, what are we, the community and parents, going to do after today to ensure our children have better? The New Jersey Department of Education and the Trenton Public School District cannot ask our children, especially our most vulnerable children, to bear the burden of this shortfall. We cannot and should not solve our problems on the backs of our children. It's wrong for our kids, and it's not good economic policy. The NAACP is prepared to take what measures necessary to ensure that these layoffs and school closures are not repeated now or in the future. So we're asking you to join us as we fight for our students' basic civil rights.
But there is no sunshine, nothing but clouds, and it's dark in my heart, and it feels like a cold night. Today's a new day, but where are my blue skies?
I am honored to be here today to share this space with the people who are standing together, addressing the most important issue that we face today in our society, and that is inequality in education. The trick is they want us to stand separately. They want us to go back, as the children sang earlier, to forget our history and to give up on our future. My name is Toby Sanders, and I am a proud native of this city. I'm a proud resident and worker with other educational folk. I am and I have been a teacher. Today I teach for Rutgers, and I teach college in prison. Before I was a professor in prison, I was imprisoned by the policies that govern the school board for which I work. The handcuffs that the state government puts on people who try to do what's right and what's fair in their communities. Before I was on the school board, I was blessed to be in some of the finest schools that this country has produced, colleges and grad schools. But before I was in those colleges and grad schools, some of the best schools in the country, I was in a high school, a public high school. I am the product of a public high school, an all-black school. Every teacher was black, the janitors were black, everybody in the school was black because the community was black, and I'm proud of that. But before I graduated from that incredible black high school, I went to an elementary school. An elementary school that was integrated the year I entered it. And because I was dark-skinned, because I stuttered, because I had a frontal lisp, I used to talk like this. They placed me in special education classes. But thank God, before I was in those special education classes, I was taught by my mother to read when I was 3. And I was educated in the community where I grew up, a community that fought for justice for years. I stand today with all those parents and all those students who have the profoundest need of the greatest services that our public education system can provide. I stand here as an example of success that's possible if we come together as a community and work together as a nation. The problem is that we are no longer that place. The problem is that those who have hustled our politics and hustled our economy have changed the architecture of this country. They have changed the system, and we are not going to change the system back unless we take it from them. The truth is that this day is the continuation of a movement that made possible my success, my advancement, but my opportunity to serve. I find myself in prisons because that's where the most young Black and Hispanic men are. I find myself in prisons because that is the epicenter of where we need to be working to transform our communities by transforming one person at a time. I found myself in the public education system as a small part of the leadership people like Ms. Johnson LaFleur, like all of these teachers that I see around here, these principals and former principals, these leaders, these students. I found myself in public education because we are not going to become America until we fix our public education system. The truth is, I could get up here and rail away at the mistake that our school board and our budgeting people in Trenton are making this year. And it is indeed a mistake to take away people with experience that are local, that are connected to local people, and to hire underpaid, privatized people to try to take care of the needs of the most needful people in the community. That's a mistake. But the root of that mistake is in the power structure here and the power structure in Congress. This building and the people within it have decided that we are expendable as a community, that public schools are no longer needed and necessary. Now, we have heard all day long how that is a lie and a hustle, but it doesn't matter if we know that, if we don't act in the interest of preserving and improving and transforming our public education system, which starts with investment. What people forget is that New Jersey is ground zero in that struggle. We remember Brown versus the Board of Education. But what we forget, if we don't remember, is before the Board of Brown versus Education, there was a case in New Jersey involving New Jersey schools and New Jersey parents right here in Trenton that was the foundation of that case. In fact, in the very brief that Thurgood Marshall and his team presented was mentioned the city of Trenton and New Jersey because integration in public education took place first here among these public schools. People can forget that the first opportunities for folk, teachers in particular, janitors in particular, to have jobs that were protected and to go to college and to be developed took place here in New Jersey. People forget that not 20 years ago, that the Abbott funding formula, which was the law of this land, was approved by the Supreme Court. And this governor and this administration violated those laws and the funding formula. Here, We know how to fund our schools equitably. But we are not doing it because we allow our governor to be a criminal and this assembly to be a criminal, and we arrest people for selling weed on the street and lock them away for years. We have to remember what this state, what this community stands for. And we have to come together, and it's not enough that we just talk it, we must do it. We must put our lives to it. We must put our whole selves to it. And maybe, possibly, there will be a child who was once in special education in this city, in this district, that can become the governor here and even the president of this country because we made the right decisions in this season. May God bless you and keep you and transform us.
Okay, we know that we're a little bit behind schedule, and we have invited many allies who are here with us, and we are going to give you an opportunity to speak, but I'm going to let you know that here with us today is Save Our Schools New Jersey. We have New Jersey 15 Now, who are fighting for a livable wage of $15 per hour for our families. We also have Badass Teachers of New Jersey who will speak to you later. But right now, I've been commissioned to bring our last keynote on, and I'm going to introduce you to this brother. This brother is going across the state, particularly in the Newark area. His organization, People's Organization for Progress, is out there in the streets, still taking it to the streets, as we did in the 60s and the 70s, where the movement was strong, where people, when you said there was a movement, then there was a rally, we filled the streets. I'm going to ask those of us who are still here to just filter around in the middle so that you can hear this dynamic, powerful brother as he brings it to you, what's real as far as this movement. I'm going to introduce to some and reintroduce to others the most powerful brother, Chairman Larry Ham.
Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Preach your man up, tell me heaven is on the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's a boy that needs a story. After story and never.
Power to the people. Power to the people. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? No justice. No justice. No justice. If there ain't gonna be no justice, if there ain't gonna be no justice, save our schools. Save our schools. Save our schools. Save our schools. Save our children. Save our children. Save our children. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Let us give the organizers of today's event a big round of applause for putting this event together today. The TEA and the NJEA and all the other groups that were involved. This was a wonderful gathering today, and it is the gathering that is needed at the moment. Because, brothers and sisters, there is no more important task that we have today than to save the children of our state and of our nation. That is the most important task that faces us today. What is the most important resource of a nation? Is it its treasury? Is it its military?
No, the most important resource of a nation is its children. And a nation that fails to adequately train, prepare, and educate its children is a nation that is doomed to socioeconomic failure. And this is the task that faces us today. A task that really has been a project that we have been involved in for centuries. Because as we stand here today, and as many of the speakers have alluded to, the origins of public schools goes far back, further beyond the 20th century. Because see, at the founding of this nation, there was no such thing as free public education. Education was the privilege of the rich and the wealthy who could afford a tutor. And beyond that, it was against the law to educate other groups such as the indigenous people, which we call Native Americans, and the Africans who were brought here and eventually enslaved. To teach a slave to read or write, you could be punished with death. And so education was the purview of the rich. When did public education as we know it today come into existence? It came into existence after the Civil War. The Civil War that led to the emancipation of the enslaved people in this country. A civil war where it took 1 million people's lives to end that enslavement. And after the Civil War, what happened? The passage of the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendments. The abolishment of slavery, citizenship, and the right to vote for African men, for black men. And what did they do with that right to vote? They elected what we were taught in school, the Reconstruction governments. How many of you have heard of the Reconstruction governments? These were the state legislatures that black people elected in the former Confederate states. Many of these legislatures were for a minute predominantly black, and then others were a majority coalition of the Republicans and blacks who had been elected to office. And what was one of the first things that they did, these Reconstruction governments? They formed free public schools, not just for black children, for all the children in those states. So this question of education and its origins relates to the very existence of the nation. And this right to free public education is a right that was paid for with blood. What is the other origin of public education? Not just the abolition of slavery, but the trade union movement. Prior to the Civil War, it was against the law for working people to even form syndicates and associations and unions. And once they formed these unions, what was one of their demands? One of their demands was free public education, because working people, white working people, couldn't afford it. So we have the root of public education in the abolition of slavery. We have the root of public education in the trade union movement. Should not those two movements join together and preserve free public education in the United States today? And then what happens? It almost immediately, within 10 years or so, there was the overthrow of Reconstruction and the post-Reconstruction period, and the black codes and Jim Crow, and public schools became segregated. And the man that stood here before me talked about Brown versus Topeka, Kansas Board of Education. Do you know that Tuesday is the anniversary of the Brown decision, where racially segregated schools
were found by the Supreme Court of the United States to be unconstitutional. And that this law on education, in fact, is the basis for all other law against discrimination in the United States. So we have segregated, racially segregated schools, and then May 17, 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court rules segregated education must be outlawed, not simply because of racial segregation, but because that racial segregation made these schools inherently unequal. And that is the fight that we are still fighting today. And people were fighting about education when Dr. King marched on Washington in 1963. They weren't just marching for civil rights. They were marching for housing, for jobs, for education, for health care, and for civil rights. It was the Great March on Washington for jobs and freedom. And the result of the Civil Rights Movement was the passage of the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. And it is out of the Civil Rights Act came the Title I and all the titles that deal with education and the Title I programs that we had in our schools. But the schools were still unequal, and people began to fight back. And one person mentioned the court case after Brown. What was the famous case in New Jersey? Robinson v. Cahill. And it was out of that case, the ruling comes in 1972, where the state of New Jersey is mandated by the Supreme Court to provide a thorough and efficient education for every child in this state. That is the law. But even that was not enough, because the forces of reaction and racism just kept resisting and resisting and resisting. So people kept fighting back. And then a famous case comes out of Camden, New Jersey. What is that case? Abbott v. Burke, which said unequal funding of public schools is unconstitutional. And if this government is still doing that, it is violating the law of this state and the law of the land. Abbott was a student in the Camden school system. He was a student that had a lot of it. He came from a poor family, and he had a lot of problems. But his case laid the basis for more funding for public schools throughout the state. And what was the result? What happened after the Abbott case? I worked here in 1990. The outcome of the Abbott case was the Quality Education Act. And the Quality Education Act was supposed to equalize funding among the schools. And let me tell you what went on in the chambers of this legislature. People vowed to change the Constitution before they would give more money to black and brown children in these urban school districts. But you know what happened? People organized and fought back and put some new people in office, and they passed the Quality Education Act. But what was the outcome? The forces of reaction don't rest. They voted out the governor at that time. And ever since then, we've been fighting to try to get them to do what the U.S. Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court of New Jersey said they're supposed to do. So what is the major question that faces us today? The major question that faces us today is the question of power. The question of us organizing and mobilizing in such a way that we will put people in office who will not resist the state Supreme Court edict, but will in fact enforce the Supreme Court edict. And And so people have been talking today about elections. They've been talking today about voting. Well, number one, there's only 2 days left for voter registration for the primary, so people better register to vote. But after the primary, we need to register. We need to go back to Camden and Jersey City and Trenton and Atlantic City and wherever we're coming from. We need to register tens of thousands of new voters and turn them out, not just for November, but for the election in 17, when we elect the people who will in fact make educational law for this state. That's what we need to be getting ready for. Because see, what happened in 2009, in 2008, we elected Barack Obama, the first person of African descent to be president of the United States. And then what happened? People went to sleep. And you went to sleep and you woke up and the next morning, who was governor? We can't go to sleep. We need elected state leaders who are going to, in fact, fight for the education of every child in this state, not leaders who are going to impede their educational development. So the question that faces us today is a question of power. And how do we effectively organize and mobilize? Well, we effectively do that by going back and raising the demands that were raised here today. What were those demands? We want full funding of urban education districts throughout this state. What was the demands? We want an end to privatization and corporate charterization. We want a moratorium on any more charter schools. No more charter schools siphoning off the resources that should be going to public schools. And we want self-determination, local control of our school districts. Self-determination. How is it? I think personally, it is a violation of our constitutional rights for us to elect school boards that can't make no decisions, while other people elect school boards that make all the decisions. Either we're gonna have everybody making decisions or nobody making decisions. We want local control. And as one sister said earlier today, we want an end to the school to prison pipeline that exists in urban areas, not just in New Jersey, but across this state. And we want the return. We want the return of all the millions of dollars that have been siphoned off from our public schools. Replenish those funds that have been emptied out by this siphoning off process that has been going forward, brothers and sisters. We want full funding. We want an end to privatization. We want a moratorium on charters. We want local control. We want an end to the school to prison pipeline. We want an end to layoffs. How can we provide a decent education for our children if we're laying off instructional and non-instructional employees? And the layoff of the non-instructional employees is just as important as the layoff of the instructional employees. We want an end to this degradation of the teaching profession. I remember when I was a child, I wanted to grow up to be a teacher. When I was a child, teachers were among the highest paid public servants. Isn't that the way it should be? The people who are entrusted with the development of your child on a day-to-day basis should be paid properly and adequately. I don't understand how we exist in a society that will pay millions of dollars to athletes, but will begrudge a few dollar raise to people who are entrusted with the educational development of our children. I can't understand it. How we live in the richest state, one of the richest states in the Union, one of the richest countries in the world. Why do we have to go down and beg our elected officials for money for pens and pencils and books and staff and the tools to do the work? They should be giving it to us in the amount that we need to do the job that has to be done. We must change the priorities of our nation. Our priorities are upside down. Our priorities are all wrong. We spend more money to imprison people. We spend about $60,000 a year to imprison a person. And on average, we spend less than $10,000 a year to educate a child. If we would educate the children the way they should be educated, maybe we wouldn't be sending so many people to prison. We have more people in our prisons than any other country on the face of the earth. We are 5% of the world's population. We have 25% of the world's prisoners. Something is wrong with that picture. And we need to make sure that when our children are behind those walls, that even there they receive education and training so that when they're released from jail, they can go out and get a job. And we need to erase all these barriers and all these checks and all these rules that keep them from having certain jobs. All of this is related, brothers and sisters. The struggles in the prisons, the struggles in the schools, the struggles for a decent wage. One of the reasons our children have so many challenges in schools is because home life is so difficult. No, minimum wage should not be $7.20 an hour. We should have a $15 an hour minimum wage in the United States. In fact, if we were to factor in for inflation, the minimum wage in this country would be $21 an hour if we adjusted for inflation since 1967. What we really need in the United States and what would really help our children if all working people had a living wage. That's what Dr. Martin Luther King was trying to fight for at the end of his life. A living wage for all working people in this country. In fact, maybe what we should be talking about to eliminate poverty is a guaranteed minimum income for every person in the United States. It's all related, brothers and sisters. The struggle for jobs, the struggle for housing, the struggle for education, the struggle for peace. How can we build new schools when we're too busy overseas blowing up schools? How can we keep our hospitals open when we're spending billions to blow up hospitals in other countries? We've spent trillions on the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. We should have been spending that money at home on schools and education and housing and health care and the needs of the people in this country. So we have a big job ahead of us. Those of you who are still here who managed to hang on this long, I thank you. But you are the real fighters. And what we have to go back and do is build a movement. A movement to fight for education, yes. But more than that, a movement for social transformation. And it must be a movement that includes everybody. None of us alone can do what needs to be done, brothers and sisters. No one group, and I know that this might be difficult for some folks to accept, but no one group, no one racial group, no one ethnic group is going to be able to do it alone. Yes, we have to struggle for racial justice, and we have to struggle for racial equality. But ultimately, it is going to take a movement that includes black people, white people, Latino people, Asian people, men, women, gay people is going to have to include all human beings. That's what's going to be needed to bring about the changes that must be made. Because these people are not playing. You think this all happens by accident? They spend billions every year on lobbyists to go into the legislature and to go into Congress and to make sure that the laws benefit them. It's going to take all of us together. How did I get started in the movement? Now I'll end with this. I'm 62 years old. I came into the movement when I was 17. When did that happen? Was when I was a student at Arts High School, and we were upset about the conditions in our school. And 500 of us walked out in March of 1971. And we marched down to the Gateway Hotel, and 200 of us got inside, and we took over the Gateway Hotel. And as a result of that takeover, we gave our demands to the Board of Education and to the mayor. And as a result of that student movement, our school got a new addition, and our school got a gymnasium, and our school got things that didn't get everything it needed. But the point I'm trying to make is that some students who didn't even have jobs, but some students who had enough sense to unify and get together and go down and engage in direct action, they brought about a change. That is what is required in the 21st century. See, the problem is this. The problem is we took our movement out of the streets and into the suites. People talk about the 60s. Oh, the 60s was terrible, the riots. The 60s were the best decade of the 20th century. More social reform came about during the 1960s than in any other decade. And not just the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. Medicare, Medicaid, fair housing, ADA, all of this stuff came about during the 60s. And what we need, a couple of years ago, I spoke at a rally here that the NJEA sponsored. You know how many people were there? 35,000. The stage was all the way down at the end of the street. You couldn't see the crowd at the other end of the street. That's the kind of action we need. We need to use our votes, we need to use our dollars, but most of all, we need to use our feet. We need to march and we need to protest. And don't let people tell you that protest doesn't do anything. You are where you're at today because people protested. You got to go to the schools you went to and graduated from because people protested. You live in neighborhoods where you couldn't live because people protested. You're working in jobs that you couldn't work because people protested. I hear these folk walking around here today. Oh, protests don't work. I ain't going to the march. You got people, when the workers go out on strike, they won't join the picket line, but they be the first one in line to get that raise when the union fight for that raise. See, we got to start dealing with people who are free riders. Everybody wants to benefit, but don't nobody want to fight. This 21st century is a time for us to unite and to fight, to organize, to get our soul back, because we lost our soul. We gave our soul up. Our soul is in the struggle. That's when you really understand what being human is all about. That's when you really understand what having a friend is all about. The person that will stand with you in a time of adversity. The person that will stand with you when you gotta fight the bosses. That's what we need, brothers and sisters. Thank you for letting me speak for a few minutes. Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people!
Power to the people! Thank you, Brother Larry Ham. Another round of applause for Brother Larry. At this time, we want to quickly bring up Reverend Walden Gideon, from the Haitian community, Julia Boyce from Save Our Schools, Brian Powers from New Jersey 15 Now, Dan Fratton from the Work Environmental Council, Helen Ferrente from South Jersey United, Melissa Tomlinson from That's Badass Teachers, and I think that will be it. It's the New Jersey Mass Choir here. All right.
Make some noise! On behalf of the Haitian clergy, I just wanted to thank you all for coming out, but we just want to let you know this fight is not only a black or Haitian fight or Latinos. We all in this together. It is time for us to stand as one force, as one voice, to fight for equality. And we understand that our children deserve better than what has been given to us for the past 6 years. And we do have a movement going on in our community. There's about 20 to 25,000 Haitians lives in this community, and we just want to let everybody know that we want to be able to stand to fight for justice. For when these kids arrive in the United States, they will find the same services that taught me the lessons that have been given to me, that grant me the favor for me to be a black, educated young man in this beautiful country. So as a result of this, we want to let everyone know that you are not alone in this fight. Whether you are a parent or teachers or educators, we are standing together with you to fight for justice, for equality, and we will win, we will win. But I want to end with this. Faith without action, it is dead. Faith without action is dead. It is great that we all come here, but as the election is coming to this season of election, we all need to vote. We all need to knock on some doors and let your brothers, your sisters know that we need to get these people behind us out of office in order for us to see the changes that we need. So together, change will come. Thank you and God bless you all.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there. My name is Julie Boris, and I'm an organizer for Save Our Schools, New Jersey. I bring greetings from nearly 30,000 parents and public educators and public education supporters throughout the state. We have friends in every single district, every county in this state. We're a grassroots organization, nonpartisan. We are all volunteers. From its beginning, Save Our Schools New Jersey has and continues to advocate for full funding of the School Funding Reform Act, which allocates money to low-income students, students with disabilities, and English language learners. For the last 7 years, $7 billion, that's a B, has been underfunded from our schools. They've taken their toll on our ability of our schools to provide education services to all of our children. Because the funding formula has created an environment where schools are struggling, there are those in this building that want to declare the funding formula broken. SOS&J rejects these calls and demands the state of New Jersey fund public education according to the law. Don't be fooled, the money is there. There is just not the political will to spend it on our children. SOS&J has pressed the legislature to reject changes to the formula, and we thank the legislators who have said no to reductions in state money to students at risk. SOS&J also works to increase accountability and transparency for charter schools. This administration's deliberate and rapid expansion of charter schools in urban communities continues to weaken traditional public schools. SOS&J is working to get rid of the PARCC test and the high school exit exams. These unvalidated tests with cut scores that nearly 3/4 of our students do not meet disproportionately punish students like those in Trenton. SOSNJ rejects the DOE's attempt to deny a diploma to students who have successfully completed coursework and attendance requirements and have worked with legislators to introduce a bill to get rid of PARCC as a graduation requirement. Save Our Schools New Jersey says no to the school to prison pipeline. SOSNJ and teachers associations are the last line of defense in public schools. All other education stakeholder groups support this administration's attempt to standardize and privatize public education. Parents, I plead with you, come visit this building. Use your voice. Make them listen.
Hello, brothers and sisters. When we fight, we win. When we fight, when we fight, when we fight. My name is Brian Powers, and I'm an organizer with 15 Now in New Jersey. We are advocating for a $15 an hour minimum wage. Our struggle is part of a larger struggle. Our struggle is against poverty wages, but it's also against an economic and political system that benefits the rich before it benefits the poor. This is a system that tells those among us struggling that they must wait for relief so that people who hold power above them are comfortable with the pace of change. It is those of you who speak out who make progress. It is not the comfortable elites that occupy this State House. It is those of us who show up in the streets that make change. We came here to raise our voices together, and can Trenton hear us today? In both the fight for a living wage and in the fight for equity in education, we have common enemies. There are those that think that their wealth and their power gives them the right to put their iron heel on the working class. The corporate system that keeps wages low through a corrupt tax code and union-busting laws is the same system that's funneling public money into private schools. This is a completely backwards ideology. Wages should be raised, unions should be strengthened, and public money should go to public education. My wife and I have 5 boys. All of them are either in or will be going to public schools. I know a lot of educators throughout the years. You are my friends, you're my family, you're a part of my community. And I trust my boys' educational decisions to ones made by teachers in the classroom before I trust them made by politicians in this State House. I would rather see a community control over corporate control. 15 Now stands with you in the demand that students' needs come before a corrupt state's greed. Now, there will be plenty of people that tell you that this fight is too hard, that the powers you are challenging are too great, but this struggle is far too important to give up. Those people who say it cannot be done should not interrupt the ones doing it. We heard the same arguments when we started organizing for a $15 an hour minimum wage 2 years ago in New Jersey. But tomorrow in this State House, they will be hearing on making this state's minimum wage $15 an hour. If you keep organizing, you will win. Because when you fight, solidarity forever.
Hi, I'm Dan Fatton with the Work Environment Council. I'm going to keep it very brief. I'm a proud product of the public education system. I went to one of the best schools in the country about 40 minutes from where we stand. And now I live here in the city of Trenton. And I want to tell you, I don't see a big difference in the students who go to the schools here from the students who go to the schools there. There's no difference in their capacity to learn. I don't see a difference in the quality of the teachers. The differences that I see are in the facilities that we send our children to. The crumbling schools, the mold, the asbestos, the leaky roofs. They don't exist across our state. They exist in several districts, including districts like Trenton where I live. And I want to say that if we really care about all students, we need to invest in all schools. We need to stop demonizing teachers. We need to stand with the parents, the educators, and those who support an equal education for all children. I'm not a parent,
I don't have children, but I recognize that if we educate all children, we all succeed. Thank you, we support you, and we say let's support all children all across the state.
And I am a badass teacher. I represent an organization of 57,000 badass members, teachers, educators, parents, school board members, and even administration and students across the nation. It's no secret that New Jersey schools are underfunded. It's actually a fact that our schools, under the progressive funding formula, have never been fully funded. Dating back to the 1970s, since the inception of state aid, we have always had to battle and demand for our students to receive the resources that provide them with a thorough and efficient education. If districts are not fully funded across the state, why should the importance be placed upon the underfunding of our urban districts? The answer can be found in the examination of the true purpose of education. Historically, the purpose of education has evolved to respond to the needs of society. It has ranged from instructing youth in religious doctrine to preparing them to live in a democratic society to fostering innovative workers for the 21st century workplace environment. But examining the needs of our society today, there is evidence that people are finally realizing that we have failed a specific group of people, our Black and brown youth. The call of Black Lives Matter echoes through our hearts as we witness young Black men and women facing institutional racism that continues to create a segregated society that views the color of my skin as more valuable than those of different backgrounds. To fulfill our educational purpose of responding to the needs of society, we need to recognize the fact that our society needs to not only see, but to acknowledge and address the inequity that exists in our country. We need to respond to the need of our disadvantaged students to receive a valuable educational experience. The only way we can do this is to respond to and provide to the needs for our urban students. The poverty levels that our urban students are living in creates trauma in their daily lives. Trauma that calls upon us as educators to recognize. Trauma that we need to address by creating a system of services that will support our students and create a foundational base that will give them tools to build a better life so that the following generations of youth that are not saddled by the burdens of our current society. But as underfunded mandates like PARK are thrust upon our school districts, we see a push to divert money from other areas in order to comply with these mandates. The areas that are losing funding are the areas that will truly affect the educational outcomes of our students. Professional teaching staff, support staff, and extracurricular programs. All of these areas are being consistently shortchanged across the state as districts struggle to fund systems that measure accountability. Accountability that does not really reflect where the true responsibility of providing for our youth. Accountability of ourselves as adults to recognize what our youth really need. It is our responsibility as democratic citizens to truly research and get involved with the decision-making of educational policy. As educators, we are the gatekeepers to the future. We must stand up and refuse to be known as another generation that has failed our youth.
Good afternoon. I have been a proud traditional public school teacher in the Camden City School District for over a decade. I am also a community activist for Camden City and Cherry Hill Township. I became actively involved in public education when my own children started school. I was able to see the drastic differences between a suburban school education versus an urban school education, and I couldn't understand why there were so many differences. Couldn't understand why kids where I taught in Camden City couldn't have the same supplies and materials that their counterparts in Cherry Hill Township received. I have always believed that kids are kids regardless of where they live. They should be treated fairly and equally as their peers are throughout the state. I decided to become more actively involved when Camden City's traditional public schools started to be dismantled and turned over to charter schools from our current superintendent. I have watched the demise of the traditional public schools in Camden City and the children who are suffering because of it. As a result, a group called South Jersey United was born to fight the atrocities that are going on in the charter schools and the effect of privatization on our public schools, amongst other interests. We need to start an educational reform movement and be the voice for all of our children. These children are our future leaders. We must lead them now by example and fight for their rights to have a quality education regardless of where they reside. Now I'm here today to represent the group South Jersey United. We are a group of concerned community members. Our group consists of educators, support staff, bus drivers and aides, parents, nurses, retired teachers, college students, business owners, state workers, and community activists who believe in the unification of stakeholders to educate the public and best practices for public education. In the last 20 years, public education has been under assault from special interest groups, big business, and uninformed policymakers, leading to the downfall and destruction of our public education. Our goal is to actively participate in the conversation and engage in the activities set forth by this coalition. Our intention is to stand united and provide support within our communities against those with an agenda to undermine our public school systems. Our group focuses on various topics such as fair funding of all our traditional public schools and the privatization of our public schools. We vehemently oppose the charter school movement and the park assessment. We believe in bridging the gap between parents and their communities and the importance of an elected school board and the role that it plays within the community. In addition, we fully support the special needs children in receiving the services that are due to them by law. We are an active group that travels to various meetings throughout South Jersey to make our voices heard. We offer suggestions to improve many different scenarios that arise during different meetings. We have attended various Board of Education meetings in support of the local crusaders who ask for some help to make their point of view heard. We do not discriminate between school districts. We do not care if you have the elite or wealthy children, nor the most impoverished or more challenged children. We fight for all of our children, regardless of where they live. We have been to meetings in Camden City, Deptford, Washington Township, Cherry Hill, Riverside, Pennsauken, and many more areas. We have attended town hall meetings and have faced our political figures head-on to demand changes. We have attended community meetings to shut down new charter schools from storming into our public school districts. We plan to continue to lend our support throughout South Jersey and to delve deeper into the corruption of our urban districts and fight for these districts to have their civil rights given back to them immediately. Please join our crusade on Facebook at South Jersey United. The more people we unite, the more power we will receive and the more victories will be ours. We are South Jersey United.
All right, grab somebody by the hand. Grab somebody by the hand. Grab somebody by the hand. All right. All right, praise God. Well, come on, grab my hand, sister. All right. Most gracious and holy God, we thank you for all that has been said, and we ask you now to empower us to walk our talk. I ask for traveling mercies for each and every person that's traveled near or far. And God, whatever we have failed to ask, please do not fail to grant. We march forward in thy truth. Amen. Be blessed. Keep moving.
Hold on.